What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop MLB DFS conversation starts right now on a movie Monday. You got myself and Chop for the first hour and 15 minutes or so until crunch time jumps in here. It's KirkDiese, Kirkwood, leader of the Juggalos, coming in, as well as Erik Beimfohr, chief meteorologist Kevin Roth. Chop, happy Monday. How are things? Everything good in your world?
Is that music ever going to stop?
No, is that distracting? You're supposed to get energized and get, all of a sudden get motivated to talk.
Let's see. It's so far so good today, Dean. I'm a little bit still a little disappointed. The American soccer team, the men's national team, didn't quite pull off the Gold Cup last night, but it's okay. Bright future, I guess. I don't really know, but
that was in Houston, right? It was
in NRG Stadium in Houston. Yeah, it was interesting. So we'll see how that plays out. It's Monday. Got the good stats today. Got the good stuff for you. Ready to rock and roll on that. And we're deep in the summer now, Dean. We're deep in the summer. There's nothing like I'm sitting around Saturday and yesterday, and I'm just like, man, this sucks. This is boring. So we gotta wait. We got a couple more months till football rolls around, but
it's all about baseball for the next 2 months.
Yep.
Well, you could be drafting best balls. I know you're a big fan of best ball.
Speaking of best ball, yeah, I'm not drafting no NFL best ball, but today Underdog did release college football best ball for 2025. So
I did see that.
We got that to at least I can at least kill some hours during the day, like putting together a rankings sheet and doing stuff like that. So that's good. That's always fun.
Is there content for the site for that?
We will have some best ball stuff here at some point. We're already discussing it behind the scenes, but yeah, there'll be something there. So we just got to get it together now.
Who's like the best team coming into this season? Is it wide open like it's been recently, or is there a dominant team, or is it just who knows and who cares because the season hasn't even started yet?
I think it's the same cast of characters. It's tough in this day and age. I think Texas, depending on their quarterback situation, we'll see if Arch Manning's any good. If he is, then that's definitely the team to beat. Ohio State's going to be solid again. Georgia going to be solid again. Alabama solid. Like same old. But Texas is probably the team. If Arch Manning lives up to the hype, that's the team to beat.
All right. I know the college football game is coming out soon as well. I've seen people talking about that. Maybe it's already out. I don't think it's out just yet, but soon. I don't think you dabble in those streets, Chop. I'm fairly certain you do not.
No, not a big. Don't do the video games anymore. Not enough hours in the day to do all this stuff. So gotta cut it off somewhere.
Understood. All right. We have kind of a middle of the road slate, a 9-gamer. It's a tricky one tonight, Chop. I need your help. Some days I feel like I have strong stands. Today I don't really have a strong stand on a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff I think is fine. There's nothing I feel like I have to have. There's only one team amongst the teams playing baseball tonight that has a team total above 5. They actually have a team total above 6. It's the Boston Red Sox taking on Austin Gomber and his 5 or 6% K rate versus righties. There's a lot of pinch hit risk in this lineup too. Several guys that like decent chance when Gomber gets out of the game, they're going to get replaced by like a Dern or something like that. Dern did not draw the start today. A collection of good pitchers, not one I think that's you must play, but DeGrom's really good, right? Yamamoto's really good. Sanchez has been spectacular. He's in an Austin ballpark. Matt Chapman's back for San Fran. Kikuchi's been on fire. He's been spectacular and probably still too underpriced on DK. Peralta's a good pitcher, but he's facing the tough Dodgers. A little bit weakened these days with the absence of Max Muncy. I don't really have a definitive path, Chop. I have one team that actually I saw you wrote about in the survey. I think somebody else did too. That was kind of somewhat sneaky. That maybe they're not. If several people are onto them, we'll talk about them later. I'm sure in tiers, and I imagine you'll stick to what you were talking about in the expert survey. That you're probably going to elevate them in tiers. Typically, they're in the 5 hole, but they're on the road. They're in a good ballpark. They have some legit good hitters. We'll discuss that later. Then their total's not as paltry as it typically is. Actually above 4. Facing one of the weaker pitchers, I would say. There's the tease, but you know who I'm talking about. I'm fairly certain you know who I'm talking about. Mr. Fitz, of course, he always seems to pitch when you're on the show. You're a big fan of Fitz. Anybody versus Colorado, even Fitz. If the glove fits, what was your gimmick last week?
If the dick fits, you must acquit. And he's back on the program. He's every 5 days on the bump. The dick is on the bump. Got it.
How do I use that advice how do I apply that to my lineups?
Yeah,
because I still don't understand what that saying means.
Golly, well, you just gotta. I'm gonna let you marinate on it because you're gonna need to figure these things out when I'm not around. Who knows how long I'll be around, Dean? So you're gonna have to figure these things out on your own.
If you're not around, could I DM you at least? Could I text you?
I'm not around. Like maybe I'm pushing up dirt here. Who knows, man? Who knows what the future holds, Dean? You never know, man. So maybe I'm not around. There is.
I hope that's not the case. Will you give somebody the propriety to the BEP model? Would that be in good hands?
Yes, for sure. That's for sure going to the leader of the Juggalo Nation. KirkDiese is going to get dibs on the BVP and the stadium the ballpark stadium algorithm for sure.
Okay, yeah, I guess I got to start being nicer to Kirkwood just in case. Yeah, are you seeing a clear screenshot of this slate tonight? Because I'm not. Again, there's a bunch of teams that I'm willing to play. There's 5 or 6 pitchers I'm willing to roster. Probably none beyond that. But my definitive 2 on DK, it's in limbo. It's up in the air. Like Toronto a bit. Boston, I like Boston, but I don't know if they're going to be super owned. And there's some pretty heavy pinch hit stuff here, depending on how they do things. Now Ibar is starting. Abreu is starting. So he's one of those guys that would, stuck in the lineup the other day when a righty came in. There's still several guys that could potentially get the hook. Eaton at the top, he's still like a crazy cheap price, and maybe just 3 at-bats is worth it. If he even gets 3 at-bats versus Gomber, because Gomber might only go through the lineup twice. Yeah. How are you seeing it, Chop? Give me the old overview.
Crystal clear, Dean. Seeing it in the words of TJ, I have 25 vision here on this slate. I see it all. I'm seeing it all, man. Yeah, I mean, it seems pretty clear cut. There's some awesome pitching and not very much awesome hitting. So you gotta get you 2 big time pitchers in there. All kinds of different price ranges we got going on. Get you 2 big winners in there at pitcher, and then fill out with I don't think you need to full on 5-man stack on DraftKings, 4-man stack on FanDuel. I think you can get away with, even in tournaments, lesser stacks and
Homer hunting.
In the single entry, especially get away from the stacking and just kind of I think it's there, man. And you mentioned some cheaper guys. Eden was dirt cheap all weekend long. Nate Eden, like $2K, like dirt minimum on the sites this weekend, and he paid off handsomely this weekend. So maybe we can find some more cheap guys tonight.
Yeah, he got 2 at-bats yesterday. He was 1 for 2. He had a run. He had a stolen base, and good for him.
Paid it off, man. Yeah, well, you got
he paid it off. Yes.
In any scenario, you got to account for what the likelihood of pinch hitting is. You just that's just the way it is. But I'm not saying we're going to play Eden tonight. I didn't say we'll play Eden. I'm just saying he paid off this weekend.
Let me see what I think it's a big conversation piece for tonight is Boston pinch hit stuff.
Yeah. JD Eddy he says the Strohs lineup looks watered down. They definitely rested a couple of. They're already down multiple starters in the lineup, and they rested some more guys tonight. Well, Jake Myers got a little bit banged up.
Walker's having a baby.
Christian Walker's out tonight. So yes, it is watered down. They are we'll talk about that when we get to it. But I could see a big letdown for the Strohs tonight after going into LA and absolutely pumping the Dodgers for a 3-game sweep. You'd love to see it, man.
Who is Kennedy Corona is a person that's professionally trained to play baseball? Are you aware of Kennedy? Looks like he's making his MLB debut tonight for Houston. Kennedy Corona. Are you aware of this guy? This is your team.
No. Who knows about these
25
guys?
Years old.
These guys
not
don't
a huge
have
prospect.
No, that's definitely not one of their top. I can tell you their top prospect, the guys I'd prefer not to get rid of, and at the trade deadline, he's not one of them. So yeah, they just throw stuff at the wall and it sticks a lot of times. I don't know.
He's got a lot of speed. He's pulling up his minor league stuff. Now he's an older type prospect, so he's playing against people that are 5 years younger than him. He's 25. 30 stolen bases last year. Actually, wait, in 2024, if you combine his double A and triple A stuff, he had 54 stolen bases, 6 home runs. This year, 6 homers, 8 stolen bases. Previous seasons, and I don't know what happened to his power, but he had 20 homers. Actually, in 2023, he had 44 homers. If you include that's in minor leagues. He had 22 homers in the minors, and 32 stolen bases. But he's 2K and he's playing for Houston and whatever. I don't know how much you need the salary savings, but there's another 2K option out there lurking. I've seen the name. I'm like, I don't know who this character is, but yeah, not one of the bigger prospects for them. But you're right. The Houston lineup does look pretty rough, actually. No Encarnacio Strand tonight for Cincinnati. You're expecting him in there. He's somebody else that was not in the. He was in our projected lineup, but he got kicked out of it. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. No Dodgers just yet. No Brewers just yet. It's still 2.5 hours, so that's nothing to panic about. But everything else around it, the lineups are out. No Texas, no Angels. That's West Coast stuff, obviously. No Anaheim. No Padres, Philadelphia, and the Giants. What we do have, though, Chop, I said at the top, it's Movie Monday. We do have clues for Movie Monday. The first clue, it's going to be scrolling right now. It's already scrolling. It's Chase. Chase is our first clue for Movie Monday. Tell me what movie I'm talking about in the Discord channel. That is RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel. Be the first to tell me. One guess per clue drop. You get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders premium football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, MMA, PGA, WNBA. This is not the best time to win RG premium, probably, but you still didn't cost anything. Or you know what, dealer's choice. If you want, you can go ahead and get yourself some scores and odds to help you pick out some winners in the prop street, or just sides and totals, things of that sort. All right. What else we got here, Chop? Your guess of Catch Me If You Can is not correct, by the way. It is not correct. Oh, I have yet to tell TJ the answer, which is important because sometimes if he doesn't know, the winner just kind of slides right by us. But there you go, TJ. That is our winner. I don't think we have any correct guesses just yet in the Discord. Hunt for Red October, Pursuit of Happiness, Mad Max Fury Road. It's not Major League or Cape Fear or Smokey and the Bandit, but there will be more clues. More clues dropping momentarily. Chop, give me the assessment as far as pitchers. By the way, we did get the Dodgers. That just dropped. Unless our projections, we're projecting James Outman in. Was he with the club? Did he just get called up, James Outman? He must be really cheap too. He's 2K. Okay. You got a 2K James Outman. Appropriately named because he's made a lot of outs. And the cup of coffee he's had so far, he's been pretty terrible, but there's a prospect a tag on him, at least, if nothing else. Give me the screenshot, Chop. How are we seeing it? And let's talk about some pitchers, some arms.
There's some solid pitching. It makes for some much weaker hitting, as will be reflected in the tiers today. When I made them, I wasn't surprised at how few teams I had near the top and how many I had at the bottom. So it's a pitcher friendly slate. Let's put it like that. It's pitcher heavy. You just got to get the right ones. So I think I got them, Dean. I think I nailed them.
Do you want to share it with us?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to start me off. Well, let's start off with Jacob deGrom. That's obvious, and that'll be chalk. And he deserves to be. He's it's debatable, but probably the correct deserved pitcher for all-star starter, if that was the case, depending on how it plays out. But deGrom is definitely the cream of the crop tonight. Looks like he's somewhat back to his old form. Just needs to bump up the pitch count a little bit more, and then he'll be really there. But certainly nothing to fear in this Angels lineup. He's number one. But Dean, I would say my preferred number one option tonight is out in San Francisco. That's Christopher Sanchez. That's my number one. Drawing a little bit less ownership. I was surprised. I was surprised. I watch a few games. You kind of don't really realize, unless it's like Randy Johnson and it really stands out. You don't really realize Christopher Sanchez is 6'6", man, and comes in with like this massive reach to the plate, and he's really good, man. I'm just like, I've been a fan of his for a while, and If he could just develop a steady third pitch, he'd be unhittable, man. He's got a really good. He comes in with that 95-mile-an-hour sinker, 85-mile-an-hour changeup. Darts it all over the place. Really good pitcher. But I just think that we're getting a major. He gets a major park upgrade for pitching tonight from Philly, typically to San Fran. Probably the best pitchers park out there. It's a decent lineup, but he could. He really should be able to offset some of their better hitters who are left-handed. So he should be able to offset some of that a little bit. And he's just bang for the buck. So much cheaper than DeGrom. So much more under-owned than DeGrom. I like Christopher Sanchez as my personal number one spin up tonight. What do you think about that?
I have a similar approach. I was kind of surprised to seeing DeGrom being projected to be the most popular pitcher. I like DeGrom. I like him plenty. That's not the same DeGrom we've getting the last several years. Of course, he's still really good, but the K rate is down, similar like Strider or something like that. They spoiled us. But 42% DeGrom against an Angels team that, yes, will strike out, but they have plenty of power. And then you step down Sanchez 25%. Sanchez, amazing ballpark. He doesn't give up homers and fly balls anyway. So he's definitely not going to give it. I shouldn't say definitely. He's really well positioned to not give up a home run tonight, right? On the season, 0.63 homers per nine. That's a second number on the slate. He's one of the best ground ball pitchers on the slate, if not the best ground ball pitcher on the slate. I think he is. He is. As far as Ks, as far as strikeouts, second highest K guy, 26%. And the Sierra is the lowest in the slate as well. It's funny. The second guy, it's not a huge sample. We kind of want to pick on him to some degree. Is Jansen Junk. I'm not really here endorsing Jansen Junk, but just throwing strikes. You know what his walk rate is in the season? You probably have it in front of you. 1.3%. 1.3% walks. That's just outrageous. Now he's not a great strikeout pitcher. It's 21%. The ballpark's not great. It's a big negative ballpark shift. But I'm not really sure why I'm pivoting to Jansen Junk. I just thought it was interesting digging into his numbers. Like he's been good this year. 3.12 Sierra. It's not necessarily fraudulent. But yeah, and it's not that I'm pinching pennies for salary tonight, but I don't see much of a difference between Sanchez and DeGrom. So why not just take that savings? Kikuchi on DK at 7.2 seems way too low, especially if you consider recent form. He's been on fire of late. The velocity has been up a tick. If you look at the lineup HQ, I think you partook. Yeah, Dave Potts, Boggs, Beimfohr, Kirkwood, yourself. He's basically got the rainbow. Everybody's in on Kikuchi at 7.2K against Texas. We know the deal. Some strikeouts, the possibility of giving up that occasional homer. I think, was it his last start where he was cruising and his last at bat he gave up a 3-run job? And it kind of ruined his didn't ruin his day, but he was putting up a big score there against Atlanta. I think, am I thinking of somebody else? Maybe that was somebody else. I'm getting distracted. That wasn't Kikuchi. But the K's of late, 7, 12, 9, 10. For 7.2, like I don't understand that price. On FanDuel, it's kind of caught up and it's accurate, but Kikuchi to me is an awesome SB2. I don't really get DeGrom being this highly rostered at 42% because I don't see a huge difference. And Yamamoto at 17% chop. Little consistent, little up and down. Of course, we know his upside's really solid, taking on Peralta, so there's no guarantee they have the win or anything. Getting to Peralta, a pretty good pitcher in his own right. I agree with that ownership. I'm fine with him in tournaments, but I don't really see it as necessary. But it's an interesting spend up to be different. He's more expensive than DeGrom, more expensive than everybody else. But I like your call of Sanchez. I could see myself landing on Sanchez and Kikuchi as my 1-2 in my main lineup. But I'm fine getting the DeGrom if I have the salary, not forcing it. I'm fine for Yamamoto if I feel like my lineup might be a little bit too chalky. That's kind of, sort of, somewhat it. I think we can consider Bybee when you look at this Houston lineup. You talk about how bad it is. 7K for Bybee, and it's all righties, right, essentially, and they're not good. Is Bybee somebody you're considering now with this watered-down Houston lineup?
I was considering Bybee before this lineup came out. He was one of the guys I do have highlighted as one of my favorite plays, and I am probably my start SP2 tonight. Just because I knew there would be some letdown traveling from LA back to Houston after just demolishing the Dodgers over the way. I mean, just making the Dodgers cry. Seriously, they almost quit. They almost quit, Dean. So yeah, there's going to be some letdown in this lineup, that's for sure. And I like Bobby. Yeah, I think he's got some good stuff. He has some good potential, and I'm on him tonight. Even that was even before the lineup came out. Now that the lineups come out, he's probably a lock to be one of my two pitchers on DraftKings.
Oh,
And yeah, and then it'll be like I'll have I got to check out the FanDuel pricing, but there's a chance I may slide him in there over Sanchez on Fan. Not guaranteed. I got to check out the pricing and see how the lineup starts to build over there. But yeah, I love some Tyner Bobby. Yeah, we all need to rise up. Juggalo Nation leader KirkDiese in the house. He says, "Don't sleep on Dick." I mean,
Fitz.
okay, yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that, Dean. That's of course. He's the only Dick on the slate. We know that.
Bibby's 8-1 on FanDuel. Sanchez is 10K. So
Ooh,
I mean, it
this
gets you like a
decision
Tani if they're just kind of doing that kind of
decision
things.
points. Decision points. Yeah, I mean, I like him a lot, Dean. I do. And then some of the guys you mentioned. Yeah, I'm not on Yamamoto tonight. Nice K rate, good numbers in general, but this Milwaukee at home can be pesky, and that's a big salary. So yeah, GPP only. Not on Freddie Peralta because that's the Dodgers, man. And that's just not a matchup I want to pick on. Even though they're a tad bit weaker right now, just a tad bit weaker with Max Muncy. Max Muncy's out for about another 5 weeks or so. So that and he was hitting very well. So
We can see
and that
now. Yeah.
and Shohei's in a just a little mini slump, but slumps for guys like that don't last very long, and they're not very prolonged. So but Peralta's a good pitcher, but that Dodgers lineup is a little bit too tough. I don't need to pick on that. Then we start to
Six,
dip.
seven, eight, nine. By the way, for the Dodgers, projected Conforto, Outman, Kim, and Rojas. So
Those are
it
those are
falls
not
off
good.
hard.
Those are
It
not
falls off
good.
hard.
Yeah, yeah, that's rough. So maybe you do consider him, but I have to say Peralta just very rarely gets there for me. I don't know why. Like every time I roster him, it seems like he has a very blah outing, and it's just not great.
Same.
So I'm just not on that one. And we get past Sanchez, and then we dip down to another guy I do like tonight, Dean. He's kind of had a resurgence. Kind of had a
Oh,
res.
can I guess?
I mean, yeah, if you want to.
Is it Zach Gallen?
No.
I
Next,
watched
next.
his last start and he was electric. I still don't trust him, but I watched that
Yeah,
start and he was really, really good. Um,
that was a good outing for him. But now we're in San Diego. That's that's a
yeah.
tougher lineup. So I don't think I want to go there. But the guy I was referring to, kind of a little mini resurgence here later in his career, is Jose Barrios. So I kind of gave up for dead. Kind of gave up for dead for a while. He's actually been an adequate pitcher this year, and you get the White Sox, and I don't know if you guys watched the White Sox this weekend very closely in Coors Field.
I
Man,
didn't.
they stink. All right,
Yeah.
they're just not
I
a
had
good
that scouting
offense.
report already, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they couldn't put it together in Coors Field. I doubt they're going to come back home and put it together. I think he's a fine play for that salary point. So Barrios is definitely on the table.
Let's see. Barrios on the season, 157 ISO. It's not great. Walks 8%, kind of teetering. As far as the K rate, though, 21.1% is also not spectacular. Getting more strikeouts versus lefties, 23.7%. I think he's seeing a fair bit of lefties here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm seeing in the lineup there for the White Sox. Collectively, a 105 ISO. I guess it's unfair because it includes Colton Montgomery and a 0 ISO because he's barely played any games. I saw he get a. I thought, oh no, that must have been against a lefty. I saw him get a double or a triple the other day in Coors. I didn't see that highlight. Yeah, shout out to Kyle Lowry, by the way, back with the Sixers. You see that?
I did not. Good for him.
Does that change things for you?
You know what changes things, Dean? And it's just the summer league, but watching VJ Edgecombe the other night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember my scouting report on him, but it's looking a
Did you give
lot.
me a comp? I remember you liked him. Did you give me a comp?
Yeah, I said he was much better. Much rather have him than Ace Bailey. He's looking pretty solid there. So if Embiid can get healthy, you never know.
He's nicknamed the Generator. Did you know that? According to at least the interwebs, I didn't
No,
know that. I've never seen him play. I don't watch college ball, but I'm told he's pretty good. Darvish is throwing baseballs tonight. I don't think we care about that, but just want to acknowledge Darvish is back in our lives. No lineups just yet for Texas and the Angels or the Giants and the Phillies. The cheapest pitcher you're willing to roster this evening is who? I mean, it's Kikuchi, right? Is there anybody who would go below that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
The one
Bybee.
no. Yeah, I like Bybee. Obviously like Bybee a lot. The cheapest guy I would go tonight is Dick Fitz. Like, I'd take a shot on that in GPPs. It's Colorado, man. They stink.
Yeah.
He does have some arm talent there. He's cheap. He's worth, like, it's a tough slate to do that because there's some really good pitching, but you asked me who the cheapest guy. He is the cheapest guy that I would entertain rostering, and I would really do it, especially if the slate was a little bit different. But yeah, he's the cheapest guy. But Bybee's definitely the most viable cheap guy there. There's only one guy. We've talked through just about everybody here. There's only one guy that we haven't mentioned that has a pretty decent price tag that I would.
Noah Cameron?
Yes, that's the other guy. The only other guy we haven't talked about. But Noah Cameron is definitely still on my big board for tonight. But other than that, we've covered everybody that I have any interest in.
I'm still waiting for Cameron to turn into a pumpkin. I don't think it necessarily happens tonight, though, because, again, everything about his advanced data screams that he's been kind of fraudulent. A 206 BABIP, right? That's not going to sustain. Almost 84% left on base is lucky. His ERA is 2.56, but his Sierra is 4.45. I don't totally buy it. The walks are not great, 80.5%, not terrible. But the matchup tonight, I think, is a fine one, and I think he should be okay. No O'Neal Cruz in there, which is, I guess, good, bad. I'm not sure. One of the better hitters for Pittsburgh, obviously, but he's really vulnerable to striking out from the right side. He did not crack the lineup for Pittsburgh. It's Pham, McCutchen, Reynolds, Gonzalez, Hayes, Canario, Davis, Triolo, and IKF. We should go ahead and drop that second clue. It's actually scrolling right now. TJ's all over it. Second clue for Movie Monday, Chop. It is Bus. Chase and Bus. Let me know in the Discord channel. Get yourself a week free of RotoGrinders Premium or a week free.
I'm not falling for that bait.
What do you mean?
You're trying to bait those clues right there.
I always get the best clues in 1 and 2.
You're trying to make us think of a bus chase. And I ain't falling for it.
Sometimes, maybe a little bit of a curveball out the gate, and then it all makes sense back in, once everything is revealed, I suppose. And Shannon thinks it's speed. But that almost seems too obvious. Maybe somebody will guess it. I'm not sure.
3 guesses in a row in the Discord chat. Speed, speed, speed.
Yeah. Come on. I mean, this is not my first, Movie Monday I've made. I'm not going to make it that easy. No softballs. This isn't the All-Star game. All right. Give me the summary as far as pitchers, Chop.
The summary for pitchers is that there's a lot of viable options tonight in all kinds of price ranges. I got 10 guys on my list. At the top, the guys I want to spend, the guy I'd spend up on if I had all the money in the world, salary wise, Jacob deGrom. I prefer Sanchez as my spend up over that. I think Sanchez is my number one. Great options in the mid range. I think Barrios is fine. Zach Gallen is okay. Cameron's okay, but Kikuchi is a strikeout machine in a really good matchup this year. Rangers stink, and I love Tanner Bybee in this matchup right here. Astros are not going to have their A lineup not even close tonight, and Bybee's not bad. He has spells of being terrible, but he also has some good stuff in him. And if you have to in GPPs, you can play Dick Fitz down there at 6,200. I don't think I'm going to do that, but it's viable against Colorado and his 97-mile-an-hour fastball. So, yeah, there's a lot of options at pitcher tonight.
Jeez.
Hey, Dean, you're doing a whole monologue on mute, man.
Do you want to make a jelly bean bet? I'll take a Jansen Junk, and you can take Dick Fitz.
Let me hold on real quick. Let me look up the numbers real. Let me run that into the algorithm real quick.
You got an algorithm for this too?
Oh, Dean, for sure. I'll take Dick Fitz in that one all day long. Oh yeah.
what does a jelly bean go for these days? I don't know, but I'm happy to make a wager with you for funsies.
Yeah, I don't know. We have to discuss it. Maybe the
All right.
chat can throw something out there, but that's for sure. I'd definitely take Fitz over Junk.
I would take I mean Junk's been better, but
Yeah,
obviously Fitz is a better matchup.
technically, but we can also talk through some stuff here in the stacked tiers, and it'll kind of show you where my head's going.
We have good weather by the way for hitting in Boston. I know Roth wrote about it being warm and muggy with winds blowing out there, 10 miles per hour facing the monster. What does Weather Edge have? Last we saw earlier in the day, I know it had a nice positive uh, projection, at least in previous games. Yeah, a 5.6 bump in homers, a 9% bump in runs in 140 previous games played in Boston. We also have a fire emoji in Kansas City for what it's worth. It's going to be a 87. It's also a terrible ballpark to hit homers, but we've seen a bump in homers at 7.7% in 127 previous games. Nothing as far as precipitation. Everything else is pretty neutral that I'm seeing. You have 80 in Cincinnati, good ballpark generally speaking. 74 in Chicago, pretty neutral according to Weather Edge. But the best spot would be Boston, far as I can tell, when it comes to hitting. Okay, Chop. It is not Almost Famous. That's a good guess, though. That's a very good
movie,
guess.
though, right? It's a good movie.
Oh, it's
right?
spectacular, and it's a great movie.
movie.
Excellent. If you've never seen Almost Famous, you should definitely see that. Clear the schedule and watch Almost Famous when you get a chance. All right. Tiers. I don't know. We went in cold. We do this new thing, Chop, where you do Mondays, I do Tuesdays. We don't tell each other as far as the tier category, the tier board. So I'm going in cold. I'm looking forward to what you're going to tell me. What is today's tiers category before we officially reveal the board? Chopper.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you hear? I was asking for were you busy typing away or something? What's happening over there?
Yeah. Lots of stuff going on in the chat. All right. Tier board tonight. So you don't know. So so I'm gonna preface it by saying where I got the idea from. I was just kind of watching some sports. Enrique Hernandez not in the lineup tonight. It looks like so. Dodgers top 5 as expected, and a rough bottom 4. But so we got I'm watching a little Sports Center, a little TV this weekend. This morning, I like to tune in on Mondays. And of course, I'm a big Houston guy, so I'm tuning into when they're talking about the Astros and how they completely shit pumped the Yankees this week. I mean the Dodgers. I love that kind of stuff. And somebody came on and referred to the Astros as the zombie Astros because they just keep coming back, year after year, keep coming back from the dead. So they got me thinking, in honor of the zombie Astros, let's rank some zombie stuff, some zombie movies and TV shows. Tear them up. Why not? So that's where we're at, Dean. So TV shows, movies involving zombies. And believe me, there's multiple TV shows and movies I could put in any one of these categories. Had to limit it to one. So fire off some of your favorites in chat.
I mean, The Walking Dead was awesome until it wasn't, but for like 7 seasons, it was awesome. It was very, very good. And that's not my genre at all. Zombieland's a lot of fun. Even the sequel's a lot of fun. Both those movies are a lot of fun. I know some people out there love Shaun of the Dead. That's not something I really went to, but I know there's a certain contingency that absolutely loves that movie. Train to Busan. That's a spectacular movie as well, out of Korea, I believe. I think there's a sequel of that coming as well. And now I see your board is up. I have seen World War Z with Brad Pitt. I'm surprised it's at number 1 a little bit. Oh, The Last of Us. Yeah, I guess is that zombies? Zombie-like, sort of ish, zombie-ish. 28 Days Later franchise. Oh, you don't like the 28 Days Later franchise? The new one was supposed to be really good. You didn't like it? You didn't see it? Or you just don't care for it?
Well, when it's my turn to talk, I'll elaborate on my list a little more.
I agree with the Walking Dead spinoffs. It's like enough. There's like 19 of them. Who can keep track of all of those? Wait, hold on. He's still alive? And why did you even kill him off? If you're going to there was the way they handled that. I don't want to say any spoilers, although it's statute of limitations. But the way they handled The Walking Dead is just completely ruining that franchise and all the offshoots. There's just so many different things. I don't know how anybody keeps track of it all, but Negan's got his own show now, I believe. I think, but I can't. Michonne, I think, is on one. Rick is a thing again. Anyways, spoiler. Yeah, you tell me. Explain your board. Tell me why World War Z is number one. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, there could have been a lot. Butthole mentioned one in chat that I really wanted to put on there, but I just couldn't. Is I Am Legend, I definitely wanted that in tier one. I had to choose one. I mean, World War
Aren't those
Z.
technically like vampires? Like I felt like they weren't zombies. That was like in the book they're vampires, and then in the movie they just left it ambiguous.
I mean,
he went on the book with you.
It would have
he's referencing the book.
It would have to be closer to zombies than vampires. They're during the daylight. They're out there during the daylight and everything. And I mean, it's got to be a zombie movie. But
where's Buffy if we're bringing in vampires?
Like, maybe that could have been I Am Legend. The point to me was World War Z is definitely a tier one zombie movie for sure. Like that's a rewatch. That's as rewatchable as anything.
Really?
Okay. I don't know why. It just is good. It's really good. The Walking Dead, like you said, you hit it on the head. For a while, phenomenal TV. Just super, super interesting TV for a while. Ran its course a little bit too long. They took the payday. That happens. You can't really hold it against them. But for a while, Walking Dead was awesome. So you got that. Last of Us. I think it started out season one with a bang. It's really starting to.
I haven't seen the second season, so try not to spoil anything.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm dropping it to tier 3 because season 2 to me really fell off compared to season 1, and if that's the route we're going with it, it's not gonna make those top 2 spots ever. So 28. So here's the thing about 28 days later and the franchise, Dean, was so I did not see this when it came out. I started hearing about this like about a year ago. This 28 days thing, right? So I didn't see it back in 2005. So I just watched 28 Days Later like a month ago, right? And I tell you, to me, does not stand any bit of the test of time. And I think that's partly because since 2005, we've had World War Z, I Am Legend, Walking Dead. We've had all these good zombie movies. That's just not on par with. Maybe in 2005 it was in a league of its own, but I barely made it through 28 Days Later. The final 30 minutes of it was pretty good, but that was about it. And then I rented 28 weeks later, couldn't get through 30 minutes. I was going to it out. I was going to try to do it because the cast looked phenomenal. Like, Jeremy Renner's in there, and
he's always solid.
Yeah, there was some other really good actors and actresses in there. Couldn't get through about 30 minutes of it. Had to cut it off. So I think that's an overrated franchise. And man, the Walking Dead spinoffs, I don't. I watched one of them. That's enough for me. Rick and Michonne somehow got back together and found each other, and brutal stuff. But like I said, tier 1 could be like you mentioned a couple of them that I was really. Zombieland is really entertaining.
That's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of good movies out there that I just couldn't quite make the list.
All right, let's go ahead and throw some teams in some tiers. We did get some lineups, by the way. Dodgers, Ohtani, Betts, Freeman, Smith, Pages, Conforto, Kim, Rojas, Outman. Yeah, Hernandez hit the IL. Muncie's hurt, and there's no Teoscar as well. I think Teoscar's dinged also. So it's not the best Dodgers lineup by any means, by any stretch. Brewers came out. They earlier this season, they traded Aaron Savali for Aaron Vaughn. They sent Aaron Vaughn down to the minor leagues. They called up Aaron Vaughn because he's taking the place of Rhys Hoskins. Rhys Hoskins got a thumb. I think it's a thumb, so he's out for a while. 2K Vaughn, 2K. He's at the 5 spot for 2K. I know not the best matchup per se, but he did crack the lineup, and he's Stone Min on DK. So we got Milwaukee. We have the Dodgers. We have everything early. Some of the late games we don't have just yet. All right, let's do it. It's the Marlins, the Fish. They're in Cincinnati. It's a 9 total. Jansen Junk taking on Brady Singer, who hasn't been great, been vulnerable to lefty power. I know you talked about this, and Stowers looks good. Sanchez looks good. Agustin Ramirez. Have we seen the reserves yet for the All-Stars? he's got to be the Marlins All-Star, right? I think
He's
maybe.
really good, man.
Yeah, I like him
Didn't you,
too.
didn't you get him from the Yankees?
Jazz. Yeah, he was in the Jazz deal.
Huh. The Yankees always sitting on their own. You know what, man? They just can't even get out of their own way, man. That guy would look good in the Yankees. That's what they need in a Yankees uniform. But who am I to say anything? Yeah, he's good. I like this lineup, Dean. In fact, I'm just gonna come out and give both Miami and Cincinnati tier two props tonight. Cincinnati, because I mean, while Jansen Junk has some solid numbers, I think we're going to Cincinnati here, which is a big time home run park. He's had some struggles against left-handed hitters. There's a couple in that lineup that are really good. I don't know, just kind of like Cincinnati here as a tier two team. Miami, I'm definitely on Miami as a lower owned mini stack tonight. Some of those guys specifically that you mentioned already. I think Kyle Stowers is really good. Augustin Ramirez is really good. I like Miami to get just a massive park upgrade here. So, yeah, I like Miami. Both these teams are tier two teams.
197 ISO from Singer versus righties this year, and Stowers 279 ISO, monster number. 386 WOBA, it's a big number as well. 235 ISO for Augustin Ramirez as well. Speaking of junk, Marshall in chat said you're kicking him right in the junk. He's written several films. Chop has kicked me in the nuts 3 times here. So I don't know if Marshall's produced some zombie stuff, but
I don't know. Marshall, you're gonna have to specify that
the 28 Days Later franchise, maybe he's associated with it. I know it's widely beloved. Most people like it. I think.
Yes, that's that. Okay, maybe that's why I was so disappointed, because everybody was so glowing about it. But maybe it was back in 2000. But if you're watching it for the first time in 2025, I don't know. Just doesn't really stand up for me.
I just remember it was confusing because it came out. Did it come out around the same time around a Sandra Bullock movie called Speaking of Speed? Sandra Bullock had a movie called 28 Days, where she went to rehab, and people always misspoke about which movie and obviously they're distinctly different. One's a zombie movie, one is about rehab. Okay, let's move on. Speaking of movies, let's drop our third clue for Movie Monday. Nobody's there just yet. Third clue can change some things. First clue is chase. Second clue is bus. The third clue, Chop, is plastic. Plastic is the third clue. Chase, plastic, and bus. First 3 clues, get in that Discord, tell me what movie I'm talking about. Get your stuff a week free of RG Premium. Biggest total on the board, it's the Boston Red Sox. Only team above 5, only team above 6. So well ahead of the field as far as team total, 6.15. You want to get all technical. It is not the graduate. Richard Fitz throwing baseballs against Austin Gomber. Again, a 6 total. There's the threat of potential pinch hit stuff. I will pull up the bat to see what it's saying, but I would assume Eaton is probably one of the more likely guys to get pinch hit for. Ref Snyder as well. I feel a lot better about the lefties that are starting, guys like Anthony and Abreu. Chop, Boston and the Rockies. What do you got? Also, really good temperature. It's muggy, winds facing the monster. What do you got?
So starting off with Colorado, they're a tier 4. That's just not a good offense, and I think Fitz is, he's not great, but he can certainly have some success against this lineup. So they're a tier 4 for me, nothing more than that. Boston, ding ding, going to be our first tier 1 tonight. I do like this matchup for him. Gomber stinks, big team total. His numbers are terrible. And Dean, I pulled up a few of these stats here I was poking into today. Boston has scored 10 or more runs 14 different times this year. That's a pretty high percentage. So that means when they get hot in a game, they get hot for a GPP winning type of performance. So I got Boston in tier 1, starting to kind of come around. But like you said earlier, we gotta really dig into the pinch hit stuff a little more with them tonight. But I think you could be safe. You'll certainly be safe with a couple of different guys that won't have any chance of getting pinch hit for. So I think Boston's a really solid option in tier 1.
We got Mayer on the bench. We have who's a lefty. We have Hamilton on the bench, who's a lefty. As expected here, according to Derek Carty's the bat, which makes the most sense here. Eaton, the tricky part is they're leading off too. Eaton 63% pinch hit risk, 63%. It's a monster number. 44% for Ref Snyder. Next up, Gonzalez. Everybody else I think is pretty safe. by my estimate. Everybody else in single digits. So that's kind of the way I see it as well. We're also looking at a projected extreme hitters umpire too, to make it a little bit more tasty. Gomber, by the way, just looking at it, we said he's bad, but even digging in against right-handers, 5.3% strikeouts. Chop 5.3%. A sweaty KirkDiese can get a 5.3% strikeout against, insert batters here. 268 ISO, 424 WOBA. That's just insane. Really, really bad. So again, I'm trying to be cautious of the pinch hit stuff, but I'm not saying I wouldn't roster, a Rep Snyder or a Eaton. Probably wouldn't want to, one off them necessarily. Because, if Boston happens to be up 10-0 in the third inning, Eaton's just going to play all 9. Like, that's very, very likely. Like, why not give the kid the whole game? Okay, let's scoot along. Do we have any winners yet in the Discord? We do have a winner in the Discord. TJ said par was 3, and that's where we're at. Par is 3. We did hit par. We got a winner. We'll talk about that in a second, but I will shout out Iowa Boy, today's winner with RG Premium. We'll add some more clarity to that later on. Dodgers, Brewers, we did mention both their lineups just came out. It's Peralta, 2 good pitchers. Peralta taking on, for the Dodgers, at Yamamoto. 7.5 total, not the best Dodger lineup, right? Noah, we're missing, Kiki Hernandez is out. Teoscar Hernandez is out. They called up James Outman, who's 2K, cracking the lineup here against Freddie Peralta. No Rhys Hoskins, a 2K, Andrew Vaughn for the Brew Crew. Where do you want to throw the Dodgers and Milwaukee?
Well, Dean, we've got 2 solid starting pitchers, 2 solid bullpens. This is not a game I want to attack. So the LA Dodgers are going in tier 4. I give them the benefit of the doubt just because they do have, some thump in that lineup. And I won't drop them all the way down to 4, but they're a tier 4. Milwaukee is a tier 5. But Dean, this leads us to what a lot of people are tuned in for today, which is the
relief pitcher?
Chop's top reliever profile of the day. He comes from the Milwaukee Brewers, who always put out really good relievers. They always have this thing, Dean. But I'm going Abner Uribe for Milwaukee as my profile reliever of the day. Big time setup guy for them. The standard number, 2.7 xFIP is good. The 33% K rate, good, Dean. He's got the 99 mile per hour sinker. That runs down and into right-handed batters. Then he's got that 87 slide piece, which runs down and away to righties. A lot of horizontal movement on that one. The right-handed batter's hitting just 163 against that slider this year. That's his out pitch against them. Just a great option to bring in the 7th or the 8th inning for Milwaukee. Just a phenomenal pitcher.
Trevor McGill is their closer these days. Obviously, they had
another failed starting pitcher who turns into being a great reliever. That happens a lot.
Williams has moved on. Hader has moved on. I think Williams has been kind of a disaster for the Yankees, right? Speaking of the Yankees, he's been bad this season, right?
Yeah, not what they signed up for, but we'll see. Yankees always making these deals.
There's a lot of volatility with relief pitchers from year to year. It seems like it's tough to get those that just are consistent for 6, 7, 8 years. Okay, let's talk about the Blue Jays and the White Sox. It's Sean Burke. He's throwing baseballs versus the Blue Jays and Jose Barrios. Luke's leading off here for Toronto. Springer, who's been on fire of late. Guerrero, Bichette, Barger, who's been very good. Kirk, Wagner, Clement. Loperfido made his MLB debut. His season debut last night. Stayed in the game versus the lefty of note. I think that's somewhat of note. They did not pitch hit for him versus the left-hander last night, at least when I saw. Maybe he faced multiple lefties. May have missed that. I think he started versus the lefty, actually. Yeah, Toronto and Chicago. What do you got?
Yeah, Chicago is they're just awful, Dean. I'm not stacking Chicago again this year. Probably I'll go out on a regular. In fact, some of my in-depth stat stuff I did, Dean.
Yeah,
Chicago scored 4 or fewer runs 76% of the time this year. 3/4 of their game, they can't even get over 4. So they're just bad. They're going in tier 5. They're not good. Now on the flip side, Toronto, very interesting because they're really not all that excited. Some of those outside of Vlad. You just don't get excited about that lineup. It doesn't feel like on a nightly basis. They're on fire right now. They've won a lot of games in a row. It's been because of that offense being very good. I'm putting Toronto in tier 1. I think they're going to get a marginal pitcher, starting pitcher, a bad bullpen. They're on fire right now. You got to play team like the old analytics guys or the projection guys. They say hot streaks may or may not exist. We can't quantify it. I know it's hard to quantify, but when you're in the middle of it, just play it for a while until it dies down. And then when it dies down, you can move on to the next one. But right now, they're hot as a lineup. They feed off of each other. I'm putting them in tier 1.
We're not talking about them right now. They're facing your Astros, but Cleveland, the Guardians, have lost 10 games in a row, Chop. 10 games in a row they lost. 5 of those games they've been shut out. They lost 10 games in a row against Detroit over the weekend. How many total runs they score against Detroit? 3. 3 runs. And they were shut out the previous game. They've scored 3 runs in their last 4 games. That offense is dreadful. J-Ram is like the Travolta gif or the Will Smith gif, just kind of looking around like he's all by himself and just nobody helping him out there. The rest of that lineup is just absolutely dreadful. And that's a good, I was going to say a good segue, but I forgot about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and Kansas City is up next. It's Andrew Heaney taking on the Kansas City Royals, 8.5 total. Noah Cameron on the other side. We mentioned Noah O'Neal Cruz for the Pirates. Where do you want to throw the Royals and Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so let's talk about Pittsburgh against Noah Cameron. That's a tier 5 for me, and it's not even because Cameron is all that great. It's just Pittsburgh's just not good. They're just not that good. So that's a tier 5. I don't have any. Here you go, Dean. Here's the crazy. I've told you KC stinks on offense all year. I've been on this bus like they're just not good. So here's your crazy stat of the day, Dean. Remember the knowledge I just gave you about the White Sox, 4 or fewer runs in 76% of their games. KC scored 4 or fewer in 78% of their games this year. They're not a good offense. They've got one really good hitter, Bobby Witt, and he's not even having that type of year that he was kind of expected to take a leap. They're not good. That's a tier 4 team for me. Haney is not great, but he's certainly not terrible. He's serviceable. I just don't believe in this offense at all. They're going in tier 4 for me.
It's also, if you look at the Savant ballpark factors, just the straight up ballpark factor, it's a 91. The only ballpark that's been worse this season is Globe Life at a 90. Specific to homers, we're talking about Kauffman Stadium at a 62, and the second worst is a 72. So it's a dramatic difference. Just home runs have not been hit in Kansas City, in part, I guess, because obviously it's not a good hitting environment, but the offense stinks too.
My stadium factors takes that into account, Dean. It's an incredibly spacious outfield. So it's certainly one of the worst in Major League Baseball for home runs. You can drop some singles in there because of all the space and some extra base hits every once in a while, but for home runs, it's definitely one of the worst because of the size of the outfield.
It's a 102 for singles. To your point, it's a 102 for singles. So, the best ballpark, of course, for singles is Colorado, which is a 115. Because is it the second most spacious? Is that what you're saying? You're talking about how spacious Kansas City is? Is it second as far as
Colorado? Yes.
Yeah. I know Colorado's 1. We'll get that 4th clue out there for Movie Monday. We did have a winner, but we'll play it out for funsies. Chase Plastic Bus. The 4th clue is Cruel. Cruel is the 4th clue. Chop, I don't know if you're still playing out the string. You always get upset when somebody beats you to it. You're playing against the entire field, though, so that's tough. But you beat him plenty of times. You've done a pretty good job. But that is your 4th clue. If you want to play along in the old YouTube. I haven't prompted the people to hit the like button. Yeah, hit that like button and subscribe. And also turn on those notifications so you know when we go live. That all helps us with the old algorithm. We gave away free RG Premium. If you want to go ahead and just buy RG Premium, we would appreciate that as well. If you commit to 6 months, you get 35% off. It's baseball a la carte or all the sports with the exception of NASCAR, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NBA, PGA, WNBA. It's the same price. If you just want to see baseball, sure, that's your own deal. But you probably should just get everything else for free. Like, why not? Commit to 6 months. The NFL, right around the corner, as Kevin Roth likes to say, 2 months away. You'll get the NFL content for the next 6 months. I think it's $425 if you commit for 6 months, and it's 35% off the regular price. Should also mention props and pick'em. I was talking about scores and odds stuff too, but yeah, there's the props and pick'em package. That's coming at a discount. You get 50% off your first month when you sign up with the link in the description. If you're in the fantasy pick'em streets, you're talking about Prize Picks, Underdog, or just you just want something to help you with your sports book when it comes to player props. That'll help get you there. It's really, really, there's you could just rank. It'll tell you exactly what the percentage is that based upon the number, based upon the projections, that a particular wager would hit a certain percentage of the time. And it's it's very much dummy proof, just like the Plate IQ with green and red and colors and all that kind of stuff. It's super, super simple. Get that with the link in the description. 15 minutes or so, we have Kirkwood, KirkDiese, as well as Kevin Roth, Erik Beimfohr. Got to drag him away from his 67th best ball draft he's drafting today. It's Cleveland and the Astros. We mentioned 7 total there. We talked about that Houston lineup being incredibly watered down. Shout out to Spidey. Spidey Bomb just woke up. Ellie De La Cruz, 4-1. You're getting 4-1 against Jansen Junk. Great ballpark as well. Yeah, this Houston lineup shop, it's bad. In Cleveland, we just outlined they've been shut out 5 of their last 10 times. Just dreadful. It's not good, man. It's not good. Not that Colton Gordon is good. I don't think he's especially good, but he could probably skate by here. 7 total, Chopper. Houston, Cleveland. What do you got?
Yeah, Houston's a tier 5. I had them in tier 4, saw the lineup. You're missing 2 more starters here, and I kind of thought Myers would sit out anyway, having tweaked his ankle or hamstring yesterday, whatever that was, calf. But still, bad lineup. So I'm dropping them to tier 5 with the lineup tonight. I'm dropping them to tier 5. I like Bybee quite a bit, actually. Cleveland, put them in tier 3. That's being very generous to him. Colton Gordon's numbers, they're actually not that bad. I don't believe he's that good, but he has been going out there and steadily delivering some solid performances. Nothing great, but good enough to get by. And this isn't a great offense, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Also, I think that maybe after those last 2 games in LA, the Astros did run through quite a few of their leverage arms the last 2 games. So maybe you get a break when they go to the bullpen tonight and you don't get the full onslaught of, all the left-handers, then Abreu, then Hader. Maybe you get a break there. So I'll put them in tier 3.
Yeah, Gordon, awesome control, 2.6% walks in the season. And I was looking at Plate IQ. Even J-Ram's not been great against lefties this season from a power perspective, 140 ISO, which is their highest number. But just because by default, collectively, Chop, 82. 82 ISO. That's just, what is that?
We've talked about it. Vegas knows a lot more than we do typically, and they're giving Cleveland just a minuscule 3.5, roughly 3.5 team total tonight. That speaks volumes with Colton Gordon on the mound.
So I'm trying to find. So, okay, Chop, here's. This is amongst qualifying hitters, right? Qualifying hitters. How many qualifying hitters have an ISO less than 82? 3. This is the team. It's on average. Do you want to know those 3 players?
I
Rengifo,
do.
Luis Rengifo.
Wow.
He's got an 80. So Brian Hayes, 56.
Oof.
And somebody that might be played tonight to some degree, in part because of the position, in part because where he's sitting in the batting order. 0 homers in the season, I believe. Xavier Edwards has a 38 ISO. He's got speed, right? If he gets on, he can steal a couple bases, that kind of thing. That is so bad. A lot of these guys, this is specific to lefties. That is so, so terrible, an 82 ISO as a collection of hitters. But, so Colton Gordon, I guess he can be in your pool. If you're running 150, if you're running 100, if you're running 50, if you want another cheapie, I think you can introduce him and probably be fine. Jacob deGrom is starting against Yusei Kikuchi, 7.5 total. Do not have lineups here just yet. Texas is the favorites. Both these pitchers. Kikuchi's been striking out the world of late. deGrom, not what he once was, but still plenty of Ks. He's 37. He's getting up there. Yeah, where are we? Are we rostering any offense here? I don't think offense is going to be played in this game.
As well, it shouldn't be, I don't think. I'd give Texas a tier 4 just because sometimes Kikuchi can have control issues, and But again, not a good offense. It's a theme for tonight. There's some bad offenses here. They haven't been good this year. So I'm putting them in tier 4. The Angels against DeGrom, that's a big fat no thank you, man. That's a tier 5. I don't even – what do you expect to get out of that tonight? Like, even if he has a bad game, what does his bad game entail? It's not a tournament-winning stack against him typically. I don't even care if the ownership is absolutely 0%. So it just doesn't seem like it's smart money to do that.
Yeah. Kikuchi, biggest walk number on the season. He will give up some fly balls. So I don't think it's the worst idea to get like yourself a mini Texas if you want a homer hunt, but I'm more on the side of Kikuchi than on Texas, and I don't really want to pick on DeGrom either. Okay, we have 2 more games to go. We have the knockers as well. The knockers, the BBP suggestion of the day, all that's coming just momentarily. Knock out these last 2 games. I'll go ahead and give that 5th clue for Movie Monday. We already have a winner. Shout out to Iowa Boy, but the 5th clue, Chop, is school. So it's chase, bus, plastic, cruel, and school. Cruel and school. That rhymes. Just sort of worked out that way. Okay. These last 2 games, it's Arizona taking on the Padres. Yu Darvish. Look at that. Yu Darvish. 37 years old? How old is Yu Darvish these days? 37? 38? Is that about right? He's up there for baseball. Taking on Zach Gallen, who's been up and down, mostly down this year, but he's coming off a spectacular start his last time out. No San Diego lineup just yet. It's Carroll, Marte, Perdomo, Naylor, Suarez, Gurriel, McCarthy, and McCann, and Alec Thomas in the 9-hole there for the D-backs. How do you feel about the Padres and Arizona?
Padres and Zona. Arizona is going in tier 4 against Yu Darvish. He hasn't pitched in a while or whatever, but I feel like he's going to be fine. Nice and rested, fresh arm. And when you do turn it over to the bullpen, you're turning it over to one of the best all-around bullpens in baseball. That doesn't feel good for your stacks. To have those guys march in, those relievers were very good. So that doesn't feel particularly great there. San Diego against Zach Gallen, that's a tier 3 just because you never know about this San Diego lineup. They got the power in there. They got some really good hitters. At any point in time, that could end up, being something that turns into a very tournament-friendly offensive performance for them. So San Diego is a tier 3.
All right. Last game on the board by Darvish, 38. I did a Google, 38 years old. Phillies in San Fran, negative ballpark shift for this offense, 7.5 total. Christopher Sanchez, who you highlighted before, as one of, if not your favorite starting pitcher, taking on Landon Roop. People aren't going to roster Schwarber and Harper, but they have the power to bang it in the McCovey's Cove. So I think they're kind of sort of somewhat sneaky, I would say. Chapman is back for the Phillies in case you missed it. No official lineup just yet, but I presume he will crack it. Neither one of these teams with a team total above 4. 630, plus 630. Marcus Semien is Spidey Bomb number 2. Keep hitting that like button. You get more Spidey Bombs via TJ. He is the vessel. Spidey gives him the heads up. Phillies, Giants. Another game that I think is going to be mostly ignored from a hitting perspective. You tell me.
Yeah, I'm ignoring it from a hitting perspective. I've already talked about Sanchez. San Francisco's a tier 5 team. There's no doubt about that. I'm not into that. And Philly, I mean, Roop is, he's okay.
That's a good descriptive.
Yeah, I mean, he's not bad. And there are times this year when I've said, maybe I could roster him. And if I can maybe think about rostering you, you're not like totally terrible. So, and then we get the big park downgrade for Philly's offense. You're right. The home runs from the left-handed hitters are the one thing that's keeping them in play here. So they're just a tier 4 for me, just from those guys. But otherwise, I'm typically not interested in stacking in this ballpark usually.
All right, Chop, it looks like you did build a picture. You built an L. I'm sure that was just a coincidence here. Today's stack board, I'll go ahead and give it a summary. Crunch time coming in about 5 minutes or so. You got, I see Kirkwood hanging out in the bullpen, hanging out in chat. I'm sure he'll be prompt in StreamYard, as well as Erik Beimfohr, Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth as well. If you joined the show late, Chop power ranked zombie TV shows and movies. Tier number 1, he put World War Z. Walking Dead Tier 2, Last of Us Tier 3, 28 Days Later franchise Tier 4. Chat didn't like that. And the Walking Dead spinoffs in the gutter. 2 teams. We have 2 teams up top in World War Z. Tier number 1, it's Boston and Toronto. Walking Dead, opponents tonight, Cincinnati and the Marlins. The Marlins might be the first time they've crept up to the 2-hole. Don't see it very often. Tier 3, The Last of Us, just 2 teams. It's Cleveland and San Diego. And this is where it gets kind of jumbled. 28 Days Later franchise, tier number 4, it's Colorado. A watered-down Dodgers lineup, Kansas City, Texas, Arizona, Philadelphia, all the way at the bottom, hanging out with all the spinoffs from The Walking Dead. Fear the Walking Dead, I think, was supposed to be decent. The rest might have been nonsense. I don't know. I couldn't say. I didn't really watch them. Milwaukee, the White Sox, Pittsburgh, Houston. That's the Angels and the Giants. All right, Chop. This is the part that people pay for. Let's give them the knockers and the old BBP suggestion of the day.
Yeah, so the BVP, I've been over this before, Dean. Sometimes you can't force the issue. There's no tier 1 BVP plays today. There's no tier 1 guy. There's none that stand out and go, yep, this guy's got it. He's got the goods today. Not like that. There's some fringe guys, the algorithm spitting out fringe guys. And the one I would probably put here on this list is Jake Cronenworth. Not a great play. Not something I'm not putting him on my roster just because of this. But Cronenworth is a fringe guy for BVP play of the day, suggestion of the day. So now we're in for the knockers now, Dean. Everybody wants the knockers. That's what they want.
I think it's gonna. I think I know where it's coming from. But go ahead.
You want to take a guess on where it's coming from?
I think they're going to be fishy.
Oh, you might be onto something. You might be on the crab now, as they say in Deadliest Catch. You might be on the crab. In honor of 4th of July, America's weekend, America's holiday, let's go out to Great American Ballpark, right? Let's do that. And you are familiar. I don't know if you've ever been on South Beach. I know you're familiar with the area. I don't know if
I've been.
I don't know if you've been on South. I don't know if you've identified some South Beach knockers before. Some of those Miami knockers.
I've been, contrary to Mike, you think I'd ever seen the sun before, but it's happened. It's happened on occasion, yes.
Did I get it?
My knockers, they must be pretty obvious today. Dean got it, and then TJ guessed it to a man. It's Kyle Stowers and Jesus Sanchez. Jesus Sanchez is just a really underrated power guy, regardless. Finally get to play him today, get to put him up here. Been waiting for the time I could do that. And Stowers, great trade pickup. Like this kid. He's got the juice. Singer stinks. Let's go.
So Stowers was the guy they got from Baltimore for Trevor Rogers. Is that right?
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar?
Yeah, bingo, man. They got Stowers and somebody else, and then Trevor Rogers ended up getting sent to the minors for the playoffs. Just a phenomenal deal for your fish, man.
He's back now. I thought you were going to pick some of the, I was looking at some of the BVP stuff, and who am I to question the BVP model? I'm nobody. I don't have an algorithm, but some of the D-backs have beat up Darvish. Carroll's been good against them. Marte's been good against them. Even James McCann in a small sample has been good against them. I was curious what Cronenworth did. Cronenworth against Zach Gallen, 31 plate appearances, 26 official, 8 hits, 4 singles, 3 doubles, 1 homer, 5 Ks, 5 walks. But again, who might have questioned the algorithm? That's not terribly. Will in chat, what's up, Will? He's dubbing plockers. Are you aware of plockers? Have you heard that term before, Chop? I don't know if he's trying to.
But sometimes I'll enjoy a wing at Pluckers.
Is that a chain I'm not aware of? It sounds like a wing place, but
it's a wing place. It's a wing chain, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's down here.
If you sign up for their app and get in their wing club, they got some phenomenal deals, Dean.
But then Pluckers knows what I am. They know where I'm at all times. They know what.
Oh no, you got to turn off all that to the app. You got to turn all that off, man.
I don't want Pluckers to know what I'm up to. All right, we have crunch time coming in here momentarily. We didn't tell the people about today's Movie Monday. Chop, do you have the official answer? Have you seen the answer or no? They guessed it on YouTube. I've not seen it.
I've not seen the answer with the last clue. I would guess Mean Girls, but I'm probably off. That was it.
No. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Lead, man.
Yeah. Clue number 1 was chase. Chase was in reference to trying to make fetch happen. When you fetch, you chase, right? So that was a reference. I didn't want to flat out just say fetch. You say fetch, and like, of course, you're going to bink it in one. So I got to make it a little bit tricky as far as the first clue. Second clue was bus. Who can forget Regina George was hit by a bus, and of course, there's school buses, bus in school. That all sort of kind of a double clue there. Plastic. The name of the clique in Mean Girls was the Plastics, and cruel is just a synonym for mean, and school is just kind of what the movie revolves around. They rebooted that. So I don't know if it was a reboot or a remake. I guess it was a remake, right? I didn't see that. I don't know if it was any good or not, but I think it has to be a brand new cast because everybody now it's got to be like 35 or 40
Brand new
years
cast
old.
except for Amy Poehler and Tina Fey.
They're okay.
Or I guess no, I think maybe just not Tina Fey, maybe not Amy Poehler, but it wasn't a straight remake. It was a movie version of the musical.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think the musical was fairly popular as well. And so Tim Meadows was not in it, or was it the principal? We don't know if he was in there or not, but maybe we'll check it out one of these days. But I've not yet seen it. I think it's streaming somewhere, Chop. Give me the player, the team, the person, the pitcher. Who are you most afraid of not having enough of tonight, Chop?
Who am I? Well, I don't think I'll have Shohei in my lineups. That's number one. That's always kind of a tough deal. You mentioned a little bit of the BVP stuff for Arizona. I won't play Corbin Carroll tonight, so you got to be afraid. You got to be afraid of any of those types of guys like that. So, but I think when I spend up tonight, I think Vlad is my spend up, so I won't have room to go with some of those other guys. I probably won't have Fernando Tatis in there. So those are the guys I'm afraid of. At pitcher, I'm really thinking about not playing Jacob deGrom, and that's scary because I want to have Sanchez, and I don't know if I have room for both of them. So Jacob deGrom is definitely a scary individual to fade.
I'm thinking about not having him too in my main lineup, and I think I'm okay with it. By the way, speaking of pitchers that get hurt often, Tyler Glasnow is going to start for the Dodgers on Wednesday. That's good for him. And they still have Blake Snell, right? Isn't Blake Snell? Did I make that up? He's a Dodger, right? I think he's a Dodger.
We haven't seen much of him, but yeah, those guys are all hanging out on the injured list.
Yeah, they have so many dudes if they just can get healthy. They're already the regular season's just whatever. When they'll ramp it up, and injury wise, health wise, hopefully for them when the playoffs hit. How many? Did you say how many laps you're making tonight? Are you making just one, or are you doing like
one on each side? One on each side. Let's just do one on each side. The small field stuff. That's how you win. That's how you win it. I'm gonna do that during football too. I gotta make myself. Well, maybe not just one, but just small field stuff. Not that 150 and just
the pipe dream.
Yeah, that's too much. It's not working out. So I need to stick to making hand building.
It's making a comeback.
When I win, it's always been from hand building. It's never been respectfully. I love the optimizers and love the lineup builders and all that. But as far as just letting them run with your lineups, I've never really won big like that. I've always won big from hand building. So let's get back to hand building. Let's make that a thing again during football this year.
It's also really easy to be different in those kind of contests. It's like because people are afraid to not have certain players, not have certain stacks, not have certain quarterbacks or hitters.
You know what? Back in Galveston, back in high school, we used to go and shoot some dice, at parties and stuff. And my buddy used to say, "Scary money don't make money. Scary money don't make money." Dean.
Well, he didn't coin that. A lot of people say that.
No, I think he did. He's the first person I ever heard say that.
My home poker game, at every poker game, there's one guy that's his one job.
I don't know if you knew this, but there was a point in time when DFS first started, and Al Smizzle coined the term chalk. I don't know if you remember that one.
Shout out to Smith. All right, let's seamlessly transition to crunch time. We got Erik, we have Kirkwood, we have Roth. Here's crunch time right now. A show of hands. Anybody ever have a poker player or a friend that ever did the phrase, you guys sitting down, scared money don't make money? Have you guys heard that before? It's just, you guys have not. Have you or have you not? Maybe it's just me. It's just an anomaly.
Yeah, but I heard it from Chop when we were throwing bones. So
what is this bones you speak of? What's up, Ralph? Happy Monday. How are things?
Thank you, man. Things are all right.
Beimfohr, everything good?
I was doing wonderful until I showed up and Kirkwood didn't have the guns out tonight.
This is why I flapped my hands. I was upset because I actually
Get the memo.
I knew the memo. I looked in my closet. The only tank that I really ever wear, it's a Yukon Huskies one, and I couldn't find it. And so when I moved to the suburbs, there's a lot of boxes that still haven't been unpacked that I just kind of shoved somewhere. And I couldn't do it today. It's just too much for me. But the thought was there, and this is my bad. So I'm going to bring it next time. Next time we're on the schedule, definite.
Beautiful.
Did you guys see Chop's board? Did anybody have a take as far as Chop's board, best or worst, zombie movie or zombie TV show? Any hot takes anybody have? Maybe you guys missed the board. Not everybody at once. Anybody can just chime in at some point.
I missed it. I missed the board. I came in around when we were making hand building great again, and I got excited for.
Yes. You're on team hand build.
I'm on team hand build for sure. I'm the same way as Chop. Anytime I get lazy and just say like X some stuff out, let the computer run with it, I get destroyed. And the only times I've ever won big money has only been nothing chop level. But the only reason I'm still around in DFS is from hand building. So
if I don't max, I hand build, and most of the time I'm not maxing. So
whose list was this? Was this Chop or Dean's?
It's Chop's.
So I haven't seen any of the 28 Days Later franchise, but I want to. I think a new one just came out.
I did too.
Years later.
Damn, and it's not all it's hyped up to be.
I didn't see it 20 years ago. I just watched it a month ago for the first time, and to me, didn't withstand the test of time. It was pretty bad.
Might skip it.
Are they going to do it decades later next? Is that that's
yeah?
And then centuries.
Centuries. Yeah.
All right. If nothing else, there, Chop, you good? Anything else before we step aside and get out of here and make way for crunch time?
We're good, Dan. We're good.
All righty. Myself and Chop, we do thank you for watching the first portion. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on notifications. I think it's 50 minutes, Roth. Get comfortable because 7:10 is tonight's. Yeah, I know. Not even Canada this time.
We'll be out of here early.
We're clearing earlier than that.
I'll take the over on 7:07. I think you could stretch it. I'll take over on 7:07. Well, you might manipulate it. All right. Myself and Chop, we're out of here, but Roth's going to take you guys home for crunch time. It's Kevin Roth right now.
Let's do it. Welcome to it. So, ladies and gents, you know the drill. It's CT. That's what the kids are calling it, a.k.a. the crunch, big crunch. I don't know what's wrong with me. Crunch time to the shark.
None of that is real. That
was from Home Alone. The Home Alone, the Sheboygan.
We got Beimfohr in the house, rocking the sleep here. Does this count if I just do this?
Go get some scissors. Go get some. Did you do that when we were very, very young? You cut off the sleeves of the big old giant T-shirts for.
Yeah, I used to absolutely, but I would never cut it to the nip. That was always weird to me.
Yeah,
just
that was
sleeves.
Yep, 100%.
I actually still have a basket. You would play in those summer league basketball leagues, and they would just give you a shirt, not a full jersey. I still have a few of those where I've cut off the sleeves.
Instantly cut them off.
I've grown, I've gained 80 pounds since then. I just look so massive in it. It's fully ridiculous, and I still wear it. Anyways, we got Beimfohr in the house. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I know I bring up basketball far too frequently here, but my nerdiest grind thing that I genuinely love is here. It's NBA Summer League. It's one of my favorite. I haven't been able to go yet, and everybody says it's a phenomenal sporting viewing experience. I mean, it's in Vegas,
right?
Yeah, it's in Vegas in the middle of the summer, so that, and there's nothing else going on. But Vegas, the California and Salt Lake are already going, but the Vegas Summer League starts this week, so it's a wonderful week. We got obviously tons of baseball and one of my favorite super nerdy sporting events.
Nice. That I didn't even know you could grind Summer League. I didn't even know that was an option.
Oh yeah. They got player props. They're bad. The markets don't know who's playing.
Nice. Okay. I was unaware that was a thing, but we may need to get some tips here as it rolls on. Shout out to Ruthless Villain in the chat. Absolutely living up to his name, saying you need to work on those shoulders, Roth. Damn, bro. Ruthless indeed. KirkDiese in the house looking swole as hell. What up, Kirkwood?
What up? So I used to put a pack of smokes in the side of my shirts, and I used to roll them up like this. So this is familiar to me.
I fully believe you. I am not the least bit surprised. How are you, and how do you feel about the slate?
Slate is okay. It's like a meh slate. Like everything is meh. There's just kind of decent pitching, but offense. It's like, yes, the Red Sox are a good stack tonight. They've scored the most runs in history throughout the last week of baseball. They were second for the most runs scored in a month, but they were just almost had the record, but they just missed it. And yeah, they're on fire right now, and they're getting a really good matchup against the Rockies at home, but it's no secret. I mean, everybody knows that, and the team total is just way higher than we ever imagined at 6.2 for the Red Sox. But we do have some other places. We got some ways we can get different, and pitching is interesting. It's all you can kind of do whatever you want at pitching. It's all kind of pretty good.
Okay. I should add, just to our Red Sox adoration here, that the weather's great there too. It's hot, it's humid, winds are blowing out to the monster at about 10 miles per hour. If you look at similar weather games, there's not all that impressive. It's been like somewhere between a 5 to 10% boost to runs and home runs, but whatever. It's good hitting weather. So go ahead and check it out. I think people are calling you Danny Zuko and saying you should be singing Grease Lightning, Kirkwood. I think it's
I'm with it. I like it. Pack of Marlboro Reds or Camel Lights up in the corner here.
Arbor says, "Hey, I just turned on the show. I love that the sun's out, guns out. It is for now, but my sleeves keep slipping. They may have to go down.
Make sure you haven't worked out your shoulders enough lately,
if only I had bigger shoulders, like I was told." Make sure you hit the thumbs up for us. We're not just here to flex on you. We are also going to give you some good plays and some weather updates, starting and probably ending with Cincinnati's going to late start. And then they're going to wait for like an hour until the rain clears, an hour and a half, and then they're going to play. And I feel pretty confident in that. So if they announce a late start, then just, don't do anything about it. It's going to be fine. They're going to play. And then there's also a low chance of a late start in Kansas City, but not really. I think they're going to play. And regardless of if they late start or not, they're going to play. So that's all we've got. Let's dive into the content side of things. Beimfohr, you want to lead us off pitching wise? What do you got?
Yeah, Kirkwood kind of mentioned it. I think everything about this slate is like pretty blah, but there's like nothing on the pitching side that's like really bad. Austin Gomber, which we'll talk about the Red Sox, of course, and maybe again, there's a pitcher with the last name Junk pitching in Cincinnati, right? Pretty good hitting park. There's a couple of targetable pitchers that we would like really on most slates with our stacks, but from a pitching sense, it's kind of good because I think you can really do just about whatever you want at pitcher. You can spend down and I think feel really good on both sides. But particularly on DraftKings, my favorite pitcher is Yusei Kikuchi at sub $8,000 on DraftKings. I think you guys have probably heard. I think I've been on the last couple of times Kikuchi has started. Thank God it's not Jeffrey Springs again pitching tonight, who I'm always on when I think Means just waits for the Jeffrey Springs rotation and puts me in a loop. But Kikuchi is much better than Springs, and the spot looks pretty good. The price is absolutely insane, and you just really play him, and you can get almost whatever you want because stacks like Boston, stacks like the Reds, that there's really affordable hitting options, and so I'm kind of just flag planting Kikuchi, and then whatever you want to do. I don't feel like DeGrom is a must. Yamamoto is definitely not a must, and so then it's really kind of a dealer's choice. After that, there's a bunch of options that I would call mediocre to good. And so it kind of depends on what you're going to do with your bats. Christopher Sanchez would probably be my next favorite. Tanner Bibby is fine. Like I get the theory behind it, but I'm not sure how much like total ceiling that he has here. Same thing with Brady Singer. Like theoretically against the Marlins, this is fine. Theoretically, Jose Barrios is fine against the White Sox. So those are all playable options. But again, it's like that, like meh. There's a lot of meh. I like Noah Cameron and Colton Gordon actually a little bit more than those guys, kind of taking a shot on the probably higher variance, but younger arms in pretty good spots. Gordon getting the Guardians against a lefty is just like kind of like a wash, rinse, repeat for me at this point. And then Cameron gets the Pirates a little bit. You mentioned the weather and stuff there, but I think that one's going to be okay. So I'm actually looking down the list a little bit more at the Camerons and the Gordons around Kikuchi, and because I'm probably going to play some of the more popular bats. And so I need to find a way to maybe get a little bit different. I think we have the depth of the pitching pool to do so.
Okay. Can you play like a DeGrom Kikuchi and still get what you want? Is that
Yes.
like maybe yes.
Easily.
Yeah. Okay. Let's kick it to Kirkwood. What are your thoughts as you look at these pitchers?
Yeah. So my favorite is Dirty, Christopher Dirty Sanchez. I love him.
Okay. Of course.
So if you look at his metrics, everything are just phenomenal. He comes in with a 3.8 SIERA, like a 2.6 ERA. Who cares? What you do care about is a 13% swinging strike rate, a nice CSW percentage, which is nice, low walks, and 57% ground balls. He's like the perfect pitcher. We'd like a little more K upside, but he does have K upside. I think he had 11 Ks in the start a couple nights ago. So, all about Christopher Sanchez for the first option. Kikuchi or DeGrom, it's like whatever fits. Like, I'm totally fine. Like, DeGrom is obviously an elite pitcher, not as elite as he used to be, not the highest K guy that he used to be, but still a good K pitcher. Probably going to keep getting better as the season goes along here and gets the Angels, who are a high strikeout matchup. I know he doesn't strike out righties as much this season, but this is Jacob DeGrom. He can strike out a load of these hitters. So, like him, I think Kikuchi and Sanchez is just the easiest pairing to do together because of the prices. But Yamamoto is up there too. I like DeGrom over Yamamoto, but I don't really, I'm not going to argue with anyone on any point. It's just my own preference. I think the interesting guys, like lower owned ones, I like Noah Cameron. I played him in his last start. So he's in play for me. Brady Singer's in play for me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, I hear you. I just didn't want to cut into.
I hit something in my ear, and I thought like maybe everything stopped, and I didn't want to do the Dean. But I don't think Richard Fitz is a bad play at 6,200. So let me tell you about Dick Fitz.
Yeah, please.
He's getting better and better. He was touching 97 miles per hour on his fastball. He's got a hell of a repertoire. He's got like every pitch, but the two main pitches for him are the fastball and the sweeper. And when those are working, they're good. His slider kind of stinks, so that's like work in progress. But this is he can get strikeouts. Now the only thing to worry about him is pitch count. He got shortened pitch count in his last. It was a rain delay in Cincinnati, and so they pulled him. So you throw that out. He got like 80 pitches in the start before that, like 82 or something. If he's rolling against Colorado, who honestly, this is honest, the first time I've ever been honest when I say this, I would consider rosting a sweaty Shavelson for against Colorado on the road. If everyone pulls up just the normal basic Colorado numbers, but if you just want to like take away that the people are going to say, oh, but he pitches in cores. Okay, so let's look what he does, how they hit in cores. Let's look how they do on the road. 28.6% K percentage on the road, WRC plus of 72. They're awful in cores. They're even worse outside of cores.
Yeah.
They're just awful. This is a historically bad offensive team. Yes, they can hit a couple home runs at time, but Dick Fitz is perfectly capable of racking up like 6 Ks even in a limited pitch count, and probably even more. And being worth it. It's just whether you need it. So if you're building a lineup and you need someone for salary saving, then I say throw him.
Okay. Seems like we've got a lot of good options. I'm curious what the cash pairing is, or if you think there's a clear pairing there. Kirkwood, do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah. So I'll just run a aggregate optimal of everyone. And so that's usually what it ends up being. It's Jacob DeGrom and Kikuchi together.
Okay.
But I think Sanchez will be a lot more popular with the hand builders that we're trying to bring back. So we know Chop is going to be putting him in. I threw him in right there because it just, they don't the projection systems don't like him as much as we like him, and that's even like last year he was a nobody, and except like people who were in the know was like this dude is a phenomenal pitcher, and nobody wanted to play him all season. But yeah, he's really good.
Okay. And then I do briefly want to touch on FanDuel. I don't know if the pricing is different or if there's anything that stands out. Beimfohr, as you look at some of the FanDuel pricing, is there a clear SP1 or does anything change in your general thought process?
Not a ton that changes. Sanchez is a little bit more expensive over there, so he's 8,800 on DraftKings, which is a big reason why like the pricing hasn't caught up to. Like Kirkwood was saying, I think he would be in my definition of the ball knowers have always known that Chris Sanchez was good, but like he just hadn't quite caught up with the total like DFS upside, and he's brought that this year. Right, we're getting the swing and miss, and we're getting the strikeouts. But like DraftKings and the projection systems haven't quite caught up to that. Whereas FanDuel, like it's really just innings pitched and did you get a win and a quality start on FanDuel? So he does that like all the time.
Yeah.
So the price is catching up to whereas DeGrom's like a little bit more limited. So if you wanted to shove DeGrom, I think it's okay. But I think it's the same three pitchers though that I would focus in on cash. I don't play cash, so I don't want to like give a definitive advice. I would do the same thing and just run the optimal, but it would be DeGrom, Sanchez, or Kikuchi. 2 out of those 3 on DraftKings, 1 out of those 3 on FanDuel.
Okay, Kirkwood, anything you want to add there, or just solidly in agreement?
No, but if for FanDuel, just on pricing wise, Noah Cameron's a little cheaper over there. This guy, the only bad starts he's had have been against the Padres, the Dodgers, and the Yankees. Everything else he's had smooth sailing.
He's good.
Tonight he gets he doesn't throw gas, but he's like more of like a command guy, like pinpoints his play, his spots and hits his spots. So I like him. Pittsburgh is just awful. They're a terrible offense, especially against left-handed pitching. So he's there. And also you could maybe Colton Gordon's cheaper on FanDuel, but he sounds like a country. Like I just can't play a guy named Colton. He should be on like The Bachelor or something.
There was a Colton on The Bachelor.
Yeah,
famously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert: he turned out not being. He was not straight.
So I nailed it. I knew it. I knew it. And I knew
called it.
I called that Colton should be on The Bachelor.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you called the turn, the twist. Okay, let's talk about the bats and the stacks. Miami, Cincy to start in a delay. That's Roth hitting a home run right off the top. Again, I fully expect that they play. So, all right, they're in a delay. Whatever. Give it an hour and a half, and then they won't be in a delay is my thought on that. Kirkwood, let's talk about stacking Boston. You're stacking your hometown, Boston.
Yes, sir. So first I am, honestly, and it's probably the wrong play because it's too easy. But they're just so hot right now. And you get Austin Gomber, who can't strike anybody. It's like he has like a 5% or something like K rate to right-handed batters. And it's just too good of a spot to pass up. The wind blowing out, like you said. The temperature's nice. The dew point is nice. So it's just a really nice environment. Plus, in their pricing is all pretty cheap. So, like, the only thing is there's some pinch hit risk here in this lineup. Nate Eaton is definitely going to go unless they just, like, are smooth sailing all night. They'll probably keep him out there. But he will be the first guy. I think Cardi has Ref Snyder, but I have more faith that they'll leave Ref Snyder in. But you never know. But you got to worry about Romy Gonzalez, Ref Snyder, and Eaton, which is it's 3 out of the first 4 batters in the lineup. But I'm really only worried about Eaton.
Okay, very good.
So that's the best stack. Second stack I like is Toronto. They're, again, a really hot team right now. You get them away in Chicago. You get the 9 full innings of at-bats. Burke is not a good pitcher. Their bullpen is not good at all. Especially if they are down early in this one. And I have no reason to think that the Jays won't have a field day and go off in this. So I like Vlad. I like Springer. Luke's is cheap for leading off. Barger is just amazing. Just been crushing the ball and never has stopped. And he's only 44.1K. Other than that, Cincy's in play. But really, I don't like the stack of Cincy. I just more like Ellie De La Cruz. So that's honestly how I'm playing Cincy tonight. And then the Dodgers, you can always stack for sure. And then like the sneakier one, I think it would be for me, the Royals, even though it's not that sneaky.
Okay. Erik, your thoughts in the old stack department?
very, very similar. I do like Boston. I haven't finalized my lineup, so I'm not even, I'm not positive yet what I'm playing, but Boston is very much in the mix for me. If I got to do something a little funky at pitcher to play them, I'm open to doing that. I think you can do it in some different ways as well. Like some of those guys that do it, like I'm not that concerned about the Ref Snyder pinch hit. I think the pinch hit risk, like Eaton is probably just going to get pinch hit for. I think some of the other guys, like Kirkwood said, with the pinch hit risk is like if it's 7-0 or whatever, like they'll just let them rock like that. It depends if you get pinch hit for generally if the game is like we need to put a guy in because the game is within doubt. If it's not, if they're just dominating, who cares? So maybe you don't, or you want to play Dick Fitz with a Ref Snyder or something like that, because if Fitz is dominating and they're scoring a bunch of runs, he's not going to come out. I'm very similar, except the opposite on Toronto and Cincinnati. I like the Cincinnati stack a little bit more. I like some of the Toronto individual hitters, specifically Barger. I'm probably just playing Barger, and it might be around a red stack. I like the Reds. They bring a lot of speed to the table that like Toronto doesn't really bring. So you get kind of the power of the park. And, McLean can run, Friedel can run, Steer can run a little, and has been improving. It's not great. Will Benson has a massive amount of pinch hit risk as well, but he can hit a home run and steal a base. If he hangs around for the whole game, he has monster upside. He's always low owned. I like to play him and then pretend I'm mad when he gets pinch hit for in the fourth inning. It's a typical thing I like to do, and then say like, oh, the Sklansky's, I was supposed to win. Will Benson. Yeah. If only somebody would have told me that Will Benson was going to get pinch hit for, but they just have a lot of options that I like within the Reds lineup. So I like both of those offenses, but kind of the inverse of that. One, I don't think we mentioned, I do like some of the Rockies one-offs. So like Hunter Goodman at catcher, like home run hunting. I agree. Like, I don't know how much I love like loading up on Rockies, but I think home run hunting a guy here or there is totally fine because they do have power across their lineup, even as bad as they are. The one stack, I think that we haven't really talked about that I do like quite a bit, like at totally low ownership. So you're playing the chalk bats, maybe you want to play some Red Sox or whatever, is the Padres. They're still good. They still have good hitters, and Zach Gallen is not, I don't know what happened to Zach Gallen, but he ain't Zach Gallen anymore, like whatever we think of him. So even if that's like a 3-man or some one-offs across the Padres, Tatis, whoever, I like some of them as you see them like nearly the lowest owned stack on the slate, and they're pretty good against a bad pitcher. So I think they're a fun way to kind of get funky if you have some chalky guys around them.
Okay. Speaking of chalky, are you concerned that there's 3 pitchers that most people are choosing from? There's Boston Red Sox, both of you want to play. Are you concerned that you're just going to roll out a lineup that is chalk? I looked at Chief is in the chat. He said, man, my lineup feels really chalky. Do you have that concern, Beimfohr?
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Can I just say you can, I think that's why I want to look to some of the guys in these lineups that are maybe a little bit lesser owned. The Red Sox are kind of nice because I have a priority on the guys I want to play within there, but it's like, kind of not that different between whether I put, like, I'll play Rafaela at 5% or whatever. Just give me a Red Sox that's not the chalk.
Yeah. Kirkwood, any thoughts on the chalkiness?
Yeah, there's people won't play. I think Roman Anthony will come in lower because he's had horrible numbers against lefties so far. But it's so small it doesn't matter. So, and people hate lefty matchups. I think Abreu will be lower owned, and he's got like massive power down at number 7, and they'll be putting a right-hander in for sure at some point in this game, and he can hit left-handed pitching too. So yes, I am concerned, and Rafaela down at the bottom there I like too. So you got to pick at least one or two of those guys, I think. But but I've also I'm playing like more smaller field stuff tonight because of my lineup feels so chalky, and that's kind of how I do it. But
okay,
yeah, but it's definitely a concern.
Okay, well, let's go around the horn. It's already 5:40.
Can I just say super quickly? Gomber is also not good against lefty. He is a left-handed pitcher, but he's not good against left-handed hitters. So it's kind of I think you can comfortably play Anthony Abreu, the lefties in the lineup.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good note. Let's go around the horn. I was going to say it's already 5:41, but I forgot baseball starts at whatever time, whenever it wants. And today it's 10 after. So we still have plenty of time. Beimfohr, why don't you lead us off with some catcher talk? I'm looking. Ooh, no big dumper. That's no fun.
No rally tonight. But I this is a spot I think you can. Speaking of, if we're being cautious with our ownership here, like there's no reason you have to play Narvaez in your Red Sox stack. There's definitely no reason you have to play Hunter Goodman, even though I mentioned that I like him. There's absolutely no reason you have to play Salvador Perez. If you like the Blue Jays, Alejandro Kirk comes in lower owned there. You want to move down like you like the Reds. Tyler Stevenson is protecting for. I know he's like, it doesn't feel as fun, but there's no tangible difference really between most of these catchers. So if you want to work your way down the ownership list here, and that's kind of what I'm looking at. Like, I don't really like the Dodgers tonight, but I don't know. I can afford really whoever I want in my lineup with the pitchers that we talked about. I could finally Will Smith is low owned. That seems fine to me. I'm gravitating a little bit more towards Stevenson and some of these lesser owned guys. But I think catcher is like one of the premier, like whatever fits into my lineup that is lower owned is my priority.
Yeah. Okay. Kirkwood.
Yeah. Catcher, there's a lot of options actually. So the chalk is going to be Narvaez. Salvador Perez is even cheaper than that, and batting fifth with the platoon against Pitt. I do kind of like the spot for the Royals. Goodman is going to be popular. Agustin Ramirez is sticking out to me. Just his numbers are really, really solid, and a matchup with Brady Singer could be pretty good for him. He's got a 235 ISO. It's a good ballpark. He'll be a little bit less owned than these other guys, so I like that play. Alejandro Kirk, and then you can play Tyler Stevenson, who's down to like 7th in the order now, but for home run upside against Junk, who he hasn't given up. I don't know if he's given up a homer at all yet, but he's barely pitched much. So Tyler Stevenson certainly is a guy that can bang one out here tonight, and that's all you're really looking for. Will Smith is another solid play.
Okay, first base.
All right. Romy Gonzalez, first base eligible, but play him at second if you're going to play him. Vlad Guerrero is the best play, in my opinion. Shohei right there. We can see, this is where, like, if you want to play around with salary, this is where you can get to like a Dick Fitz and just start playing like Shohei and Bobby Witt as one-offs and then whatever little stack you want. But it's all doable. Vinny Pasquantino, I don't mind batting third, 4,300. Steer gets a better lineup spot than I was anticipating. I wasn't sure where it was going to be, but he's got power and speed. Maybe Bryce Harper. I don't know. What do you got, Eric?
Pretty similar. I think I like Steer maybe a little bit more than everybody else does, but that's my Reds love for sure coming through. I actually really don't love first base. We haven't talked about Toro, who has certainly moved down the order to 8th, which is not ideal. But I just don't really care about who it is for the Red Sox. Like, give me the left-handed bats, give me Toro, give me Rafaela, give me those guys. Those guys are all going to be much, much, much lower owned, right? And you can play Toro at third, and I think I like it a little bit better at third, but first base ain't much better than third base. So I think we mentioned just about everybody. Same thing with Gonzalez. I like Cronenworth tonight from the Padres at like 2% ownership, but I would rather play him at second base over first base. So maybe it is a little tough at first.
Yeah. What about a low owned bomb from number 7 hitter Jake Berger against?
I don't mind it
against Chalk
Mondays.
Chalk Kikuchi.
Don't play Kikuchi.
Wow, I forgot it was Burger Mondays.
Yeah, Burger Monday. It's a big deal.
Do you remember what he was doing to lefties for like the longest time? Now he hasn't. He's been all right this year, but like there was like last year we were having times where we were like, it's Jake Berger against a lefty
masher.
Yeah, noted lefty masher. Let it know and tell Cardi. I noticed at the bottom of the screen the scroll stopped, and that tells me that another Spidey bomb is coming. We were just a few likes away, and there you go. Look at this. Number 1, De La Cruz at plus 400, Marcus Semien plus 630, Schwarmom at plus 420, and Ketel Marte at plus 425. If you like those Spidey bombs hit. Spidey knows what's up. If you want a 5th one, it's easy. All you got to do is hit that thumbs up, and you should be hitting the thumbs up anyways. Let's go to second base. What are we doing at second? 250 likes to get your next Spidey Bomb, by the way. Beimfohr, what do you like at second?
Yeah, my favorite. So it's full transparency. I'm not playing the Royals and I'm not playing the Blue Jays. So if I don't mention someone from I like Bobby Witt and then mention Barger. Like I'm not opposed to playing those two individual players, but I'm not stacking either of those offenses. Mm-hmm. So you kind of see where like my list cuts off. Matt McLain is my favorite second baseman. He is a dead 100% on my my slappy Mount Rushmore. We show up. Is Matt McLain in a good spot? I'm playing him. He's going to strike out 4 times, and I'm going to complain about, he hit a home run the next day. Congrats. But that's pretty much what happens. But he can, like, he's the perfect like fantasy option. He's always reasonably priced because he's just like a okay Major League Baseball player, but he has power and he has speed, and they'll run like crazy, and he hits in Cincinnati. So he's my favorite option when he's not super popular, and he's in the top 4 or so. But I think that's totally reasonable. Who I think TJ had Kettle Marte. Kettle Marte was my like, let's pay up, be contrarian in a kind of a bad spot and home run hunt at a pretty poor second base that I just wanted to shout out. And then Cronenworth, who's also in that same game for the Padres. I think we mentioned just about everybody else already, because we kind of hit, Romy and Cronenworth and stuff because they're first place eligible. But yeah, no India, no Marcus Semien. Sorry, TJ. But so it's probably just McLean in my lineup, but a couple low owned guys I like too.
Okay, Kirkwood, your thoughts at second, please.
All right. Second base, Romy, Jonathan India, Matt McLean. I also like Semien. If I wanted to get a little crazy, but Nick Gonzalez does have power, and he's batting cleanup against Noah Cameron. He has the platoon there, so 3,500. I could see that working out. And then Ketel Marte. I'll just give a note that there's been a lot of Astros hating on here, but they really
keep winning.
Yeah, there was a lot of hate for Jose Altuve, who just in his last 4 fantasy games, was 16 fantasy points, 47 fantasy points, 10 fantasy points, 19 fantasy points.
He heard. He heard the chirping.
Well, you know what it is? So what people
RotoGrinders.
Don't understand is Chop has the inside word over there. He doesn't like to brag about it, but he's really close. I don't know if you know about Chop in H-Town. He sits next to Paul Wall, and he's like in like that little inner circle of like Houston sports at the games. And
I heard he was actually the guy banging the trash cans.
Is Paul Wall in the inner circle of Houston sports?
Yeah, Paul Wall. He's lifetime. Master P is
the Iceman, baby.
Yeah,
he might cause a cold front if he takes a deep breath.
That's right. God. Yeah, with the teeth.
Oh, jeez.
Where were we? All right. Anyway, you distracted me with that nonsense. Are we at third base yet, Kirkwood?
What nonsense? I'm just spitting facts over here.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry, you're right.
Eaton is the chalk, 2,500. You can do whatever you want in your lineup. He's batting first for the Red Sox. He's kind of a slap hitter. He's got speed. That's all I would expect from him. And I do expect that he will get taken out and pitch hit for it. But one single and a stolen base and a run, and all of a sudden he's 2,500, and you're off to the races. So I can't say it's a bad play. Abraham Toro down at the bottom of the lineup for Boston now, I think, is a decent way to play. He might be lower owned because of down there, but I love Barger. I love Miguel Garcia, who's been raking, and he's now hitting cleanup for KC. Jose Ramirez feels like a home run spot against Colton Gordon, and then you can always play like Manny Machado. But that's what I got.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Beimfohr, your thoughts at third, please.
Yeah, not much else. I would just say I would rather play Toro at like half or less of the ownership and not get pinch hit for, and he can like actually hit a home run probably, and as opposed to Eaton, having to, like you said, slap. So he can run. He is fast. He's like not a horrible hitter. It's just like single. He said single or walk and steal second is kind of what you're hoping for from him. Barger is my favorite though, third baseman, and then the only person took 2 guys that that we haven't mentioned. Ryan McMahon, again, like home run hunting a Rocky. I like McMahon from the left side against Dick Fitz. And then, oh God, I just lost it. Who was Noel V. Marte on the Reds. You want to play if the Reds are going to be popular, Noel V. Marte is like the third lowest owned or something, third baseman, because he's sitting at the bottom, but he does have power. You want to home run hunt a low owned guy, he can hit a home run.
Sure. Okay. That brings us to shortstop. Beimfohr.
Yeah, I mean, Bobby Witt is always awesome. I prefer Ellie tonight. I think Ellie could surpass Bobby Witt in ownership. I hear everyone likes Ellie, and nobody's just like, jumping off the page or jumping out of their seat to go after the Royals, even though Bobby Witt is awesome. Like you see, we have Ellie as a higher optimal rate than Bobby Witt. Corey Seager is not in a very good spot, but if you want to play again, you're not playing Kikuchi. We talked about Jake Berger. You want to play like Corey Seager rocks, and he's still very cheap. Lefty is totally fine. He can hit lefties. Trevor Story is going to be quite popular, but we know the power against a left-handed pitcher that he has. I'm not sure that he'll even come in this high. I'm generally, I don't know how shortstop ownership is going to shake out, because we're projecting a lot for those top guys, but then the Red Sox are really popular. So does Story follow? I'm not really sure, but that's really all I'm doing is those three would be those three guys. That's my shortstop pool, or four guys. That's my shortstop pool.
Kirkwood, what are you doing a short?
Yeah, it's Story for me. You got a guy, and yes, I'm a Boston homer, but absolutely on fire right now, facing his former team, the Rockies, with the platoon. Like, it used to be like Trevor Story against the lefty was like the most automatic play back when he was a Rocky. But now we get the taste of that tonight with the wind blowing out. Like, I feel like he has to homer. I feel like there's no way he doesn't at least hit one homer tonight. But could be wrong. But obviously, Bobby Witt and Ellie De La Cruz have the most upside for sure. They're more expensive, but again, you can find salary all over the place on the slate. So totally like them. Bo Bichette, I like. Corey Seager, I like. And then, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I was debating one play, but I'm not going to say it.
Well, you get the honor now to bring us to the outfield. What are you doing?
Isn't that what Beimfohr? So that's what he got his way, right? He needed to be.
Yeah, he does not like to start. He's overwhelmed. It's like when you fire. When you're sitting there with your wife and they're like, "What should we watch?" And there's just too many choices.
Well, that's true.
Can't handle it.
That does.
It's like ordering dinner. I can't decide ordering dinner.
Really?
Because it's like I order so much that it's like, we just order that. We just order that.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant when you're already at the spot.
Oh no. Yeah, like ordering takeout, delivery, like come to.
You're scrolling DoorDash, so you can't pick.
First of all, what are you guys going to eat for dinner tonight? What's going on? I'm hungry.
Beimfohr, do you know? I know, and I hate it.
I don't know. I don't have any idea.
I've decided to stop spending money out, and now I'm just like not eating because cooking is hard. So,
I've been doing some of that. Some of that too. Sun's out, guns out, summer. I can't.
You know what I did? I was like, you know what? I went down the block and picked it up instead of delivery from.
Oh, good for you. Yeah, I think that's fair. Like,
it's like a 5 minute, less than 5 minute drive,
and it saves you like $30.
It's crazy the price difference.
It's worth that.
All right. Anyways, all I did was order more food, and so it really was
30 extra.
But Ref Snyder. He's hitting a home run for Boston tonight, batting fourth. I don't care. I think the pinch hit risk is less than maybe we think, but I don't know. Shohei, obviously, a top play. Rafi is a top play for me at 3,500. Rafaela for the Boston. Also, you got to look at George Springer, who's got the angry non-All-Star game. Can you believe? The TJ was saying, and I'm just gonna say it too, that Julio Rodriguez made it over George Springer. Just crazy, right? Like, it's just off of name. Like, people forgot about George Springer when that.
There's so much of that happens.
The All-Star stuff is nonsense.
It's absurd.
Yeah, TJ's all giddy too. He's 3 games up in the NL East. I mean, the AL East, and we'll see.
They've won I think they've won 9 games in a row or something absurd.
The Yankees. I've been saying it forever. The Yankees are fraudulent, always.
Yeah, but Tampa was in the mix, and now they're falling off too. Anyways, outfield.
All right, sorry.
You're good.
Jesus Sanchez, great low play. It's a Spidey bomb, so I'm gonna piggyback that. for the Marlins, because there should be some runs on each side of that game. Abreu I like for the Red Sox. I said down at like 7, maybe gets a little bit less ownership. Nathan Luke's leading off is a solid cash play, but really just a decent play in general for the Blue Jays. Wyatt Langford is kind of a play that people will forget about for me against Kikuchi. I like Kikuchi tonight, but I also like playing against Chalk Kikuchi. So things can unravel for him. He can get a little bit wild and give up homers. So like Wyatt Langford fits the bill. Like we talked about Jake Berger, Corey Seager, even like a lot of those guys. Corbin Carroll, Yu Darvish. We don't know. What are we expecting from Yu Darvish? Other than probably not being so great, because he hasn't been great in like a long time is what I feel like. But, I don't even think I haven't seen any minor league starts. He did like some simulated game and pitched in the bullpen. So I'm not expecting much from him. So I think it's totally high in the range of outcomes that they tee off on him tonight. So
he threw 4 innings and gave up 2 runs. Yeah. In AAA.
In AAA, yeah.
That's not great. Yeah. Okay. Any other names? Yeah.
You got a Schwarbaum.
Sure. All right.
In Candlestick, that means something.
Eric, what do you like in the outfield?
A lot. If I had to pick my absolute stone cold favorites, I'd like the shout on the Marlins guys. I know it's a weird place to start, but like thinking about a little bit lower owned guy, the Stowers and Kyle Stowers and Jesus Sanchez are both like genuinely good hitters. Brady Singer, I do not fear, and in that park can absolutely give up some bombs. The Red Sox lefties and Rafaela are near the top of my list, just because I don't think ownership's going to run away from us on like even Roman Anthony is projecting very popular. Like he's not going to be low owned, but like I don't think we're going to be like, oh my god, I can't believe I played 45% owned Roman Anthony against a lefty or whatever. Like I don't think that's going to happen. Definitely not with Wilyer Abreu. Like people still don't really like to play. Wilyer can just keep raking, and I don't think people are. He's like the outfield version of Jonathan Aranda. It's like it does not matter what this guy keeps doing. People just don't care. Like
ownership and price just stay there.
Yeah. Nobody cares. The sites like forget that these guys are playing baseball. I don't know. The Reds guys you mentioned are pretty awesome here. Friedel hitting leadoff there. Steer. If you want to be crazy with me, Will Benson. Although I'm not even sure I'm playing him, so that means play him. He is going to hit a home run tonight. And then the Padres guys, I think is the lower owned in that game. We don't know what we're going to get from Yu Darvish, and I know I'm probably not going to get anything great from Zach Gallen. There's probably going to be some runs in that game. Jackson Merrill has really cooled off after the start. He got banged up, and Tatis. You just never feel quite as comfortable spending up for Tatis when like Ohtani's up there and Judge. I know there's no Judge tonight, but there's other good spend up options. But that keeps his ownership in check, and I think the spot's actually pretty good for those Padres outfielders too.
Yeah. Do we talk about Texas at all? I'm seeing Langford, who's got some pop. Adolis Garcia's got some pop interest there.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of El Bombi. Apparently, I think he's like the perfect example of a guy who did too much juice. Personally,
I don't know who that is.
Adolis, the Cuban Missile, El Bombi.
I prefer the Cuban Missile. I wonder why that didn't catch on.
Yeah.
Why is that nickname not mainstream?
It's official. Yeah. What are you talking about? But yeah, that they're the against the high leverage spot against Chalk Kikuchi. Good stack.
Yeah, TJ saying, Texas is my top stack, and the pitcher against Texas, Kikuchi, is his top pitcher. So he's just kind of going all in on like an extreme outcome, one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. You know what? You do that. You're supposed to do that in UFC, and then you know what happens sometimes?
A draw.
The fight gets canceled for some stupid reason backstage after lock, and you just brick everything. It's awful. And
I've never done.
And then Squirrel Patrol wins because
Squirrel was back there just like beating the guy in the knee with an iron pipe. Be like,
and he wins again. He wins again. It's like this
damn it, Squirrel. What was I was going to say something. Oh, and golf does the same thing, right? Although there's fewer choices.
It's not you're not like a direct leverage, but yeah, there's you'll get the
late withdrawal.
Yeah,
right?
withdrawal.
That happens.
But it's like in UFC, there's only 10 fights
Yeah.
times 2. So there's like
So you're
your
screwed.
player pool is 20 players. And like,
you're way more likely to get screwed
Yeah.
over. Yeah. Okay, good stuff. Hey, guess what? That was fun. We still have time for questions, but before we get to questions, we want to give the people some home run calls, and we want to make sure they're getting the best deal in the industry. MLB DFS annual option, 425 schmackers. But we dropped the price of our Combo Pro product to mirror the MLB annual package, so you get all the sports for the price of one sport. Combo 6-month Pro gives you access to all the content, tools, and projections for every sport. And if you do 6 months, you save 35%. Why would you not do that? NFL, right around the corner. There it is. It's right around the corner. So make sure that you are make sure you're checking in on that. Okay, let's do some home run calls. Beimfohr, what do you got for me?
Oh, let's see. I'm gonna go Addison Barger. I think he might be my like pound for pound favorite play of the slate.
Okay.
He's awesome. He's another add him to the Aranda, Willier, whatever. Like all the dude does is rake, and people just don't really care. Got a boring ass name. He plays for the Blue Jays that nobody seems to care about. We're gonna get.
We should buy each other Addison Barger jerseys. I'll get like a white one, you get a blue one, and we can just.
That's TJ's boy too.
Yeah. What percentage of people do you think would actually know that that's a player and not like you got your own name on the back of the? Like if I wore that around St. Louis, they would be like, this Blue Jays fan got a custom his own name on the back of the
and he was like one of their better prospects, but he was not expected to be anything of what he's doing right now. And so like unless you're a Blue Jays fan or a DFS player, you probably have no idea who he is.
Yeah. I am not. Any other names for me?
We're going Barger, Spencer Steer, and let's go Rafaela for the Red Sox.
Okay. Kirkwood?
Vladdy, easiest one on there. Jesus Sanchez to piggyback the Spidey bomb. I like it also. And I already said it. It's like guaranteed Trevor Story is hitting a bomb tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. We've got 4 Spidey bombs scrolling at the bottom. It's not too late for you to hit the thumbs up to get another Spidey bomb. We still have 6-7 minutes here until lock. And we want to give you another Spidey bomb. 250 likes. I think we have something like 250,000 people watching this show. So 250 likes should be pretty easy to achieve. We just need you to go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Let's see what we got. Scrolling up in the RotoGrinders Discord. That's where the cool kids hang out. It's where the first questions get answered. 3 different pitchers for 3 different lineups in FanDuel. Kikuchi, the dude at the top, and then Dirty Sanchez. Is that the answer?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go. Dirty, Kikuchi, and who's the dude at the top? I can't think of his name.
DeGrom. Jacob DeGrom.
Thank you.
You could even say Yamamoto too.
DeGrom's kind of dirty looking, if we're being honest. So it was kind of fitting.
It fits. FanDuel Cash, Beimfohr. Rafaela to complete the stack or J-Ram as a one-off?
Jose Ramirez versus Jose Ramirez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one.
So this is. So sorry, I read this in chat, and it has to be said. So the ideal lineup tonight is a dirty Kikuchi, a dirty Coochie.
Jesus.
I hope the bosses.
CJ just booted him. Thank you, CJ. All right,
I'm here.
Time out. Just briefly went to timeout.
If I'm timing out people in chat, that warranted a 5-second timeout on the show.
I was just reading chat in my defense. Negative
GPT.
I don't know.
I'm stacking Texas, Duran and EDLC. Oh, that's De La Cruz, or Seager and Norby.
Which Duran?
Ezekiel.
Talking about Texas? Yeah.
Ezekiel Duran?
Yeah.
Woof.
I've won GPP with him before, so I have a soft spot with him.
And I've never won a GPP with Connor Norby, so let's stick with Kirkwood's guy here.
Okay. Duran EDLC it is. Blink says, Kirkwood, while hand building for a large field DK tournament, I came up with a 3-3 and 2 one-offs. Is that viable?
Totally fine. It's the organic chop build. Chop talks about being organic a lot, and there's more than one ways to skin a cat, so I think it's totally fine.
Yeah, we're going Whole Foods here. We got the organic stuff. Erik, this is coming to you. I'm just reading these names. Oh, it's a 3v3. That's why there's so much happening. DK Medium Field GPP. Thank you in advance. We love when they thank us. Kikuchi Goodman McLean or Sanchez Stevenson Estrada.
Kikuchi Goodman McLean.
Very good. FanDuel Single Entry, right back to you. Beimfohr, Kikuchi Lukes or Bybee and Springer Dinger.
Ooh, the Springer side.
Okay. Alex says, this is a great little comment. I've always wanted to tell you the Darius Miles jersey in your backdrop hits me in the feels. That is a random ass jersey. What's up with that?
That's he's from where I'm from. I'll
Clippers,
make the very
right?
he's from East St. Louis, and that's it. I'm from right across the river on the St. Louis side, so East St. Louis is right next to me. I used to go to basketball games with my grandpa when I fell in love with basketball when I was a real little kid. My grandpa went to he was a high school basketball fan.
Yeah.
And so once I got to a certain age where I was like playing, little league basketball stuff, I would go with him to games. The first guy I saw in person was Darius Miles in high school, where I was like, oh my God, that is what a basketball player looks like. I was like, I saw a bunch of small town kids, and then I saw Darius Miles in person, and I was like, oh my God, it changed my life. So
he was awesome. Well, didn't he have like some crazy nickname with another one or something? Or was it with him and like Lamar Odom or something?
They call him King Black, but they were the Clippers. They changed basketball, man.
Yeah,
they call themselves the
that's
Knuckleheads.
what I'm thinking of.
They did 2 taps. They did they never won, but they were awesome.
No, they were electric. They were absolutely electric.
Quinn Richardson, Elton Brand, Corey Maggette, all those guys on that team.
Yeah. All right, let's do lightning round to a few more questions, and then we'll bounce out of here. We're a couple minutes until lock. Late to the party, Kirkwood. Thoughts on Gordon versus Houston? Cleveland's not that good versus lefties. Thoughts?
I don't like Gordon personally. I get it. That's an ice cold offense too. He's facing the Guardians. They can't put up any runs recently, but I prefer Bybee over Gordon.
Yeah,
same price.
Kirkwood, right back to you. Joseph says Estrada or Toglia.
I'm a Red Sox fan. I hate both of these guys. So I'd say Toglia. Estrada just looks bad at the plate.
Yeah. Derek says, I am originally from just north of East St. Louis. It is truly no joke. Yeah, I think it's famously a little rough there in East St. Louis, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
A little bit. Let's see what else we've got. We're less than a minute until lock. We have actually answered all the questions. It feels almost like we should hang out until the end, but I hear kids talking. My kid is knocking at the door. We're going to bounce 30 seconds early and call it a day. So for Beimfohr and Kirkwood and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you, and we will catch you tomorrow. Dean says 7:09 Eastern. The over hits.
Bastard was here the whole time, just waiting.
You have been